If you've ever seen an NFL trade get canceled, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. I don't know about you, but a lot of weird stuff going on last night. We had the trade get canceled, which I've never seen before. We had Bam Adebayo score 83 points. I had a legit tornado touchdown about an hour and a half south of where I live. Can't remember the last time I heard one touching down like that. So a lot of weird stuff, but we made it and we're back and it's hump day. So we are going to cover a lot of stuff here today. We've got Tim Melvin on today. We've got a session of trading here today, and it is the midpoint of the week and we are going to rock it out. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here today. We also have CPI today. So we got plenty of stuff to watch, plenty of stuff to go over, and plenty of stuff to react to. And on top of all of that, we are also going to have some fun, as we always do. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for March 11th, 2026, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. As mentioned at the top, I hope that you all had a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, and I hope so far, even though it's early, that your Wednesday is going well. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces here. I am indeed going to make sure that it goes well here this morning. I'm going to do my best for that. We're going to start here with Francis, who is first here today yet again. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Astro Kev, good morning. Welcome back. Astro Kev doing the Lord's work here, telling us to hit those likes. Thank you very much, Kev. Please hit those likes. Free and easy way to support what we're trying to do here. Appreciate you, Kev. Look, it does look like a green day, but we'll see. Market is volatile. Volatility is here. And one tweet can change everything. Happy Wednesday, Jim. Good morning. Welcome back. Absolutely. Hit that like. Appreciate you guys helping us remind everybody to support us. So that means a lot. Azrar, good morning. Welcome back. Tom, I am going to shout this out for sure. Good morning, Tom. It's great to see you. Welcome back. Anne-Marie should be elevated from options queen to option goddess because the Oracle butterfly that she gave out yesterday is printing. Thank you. Tom, you'll be happy to know I personally delivered your message to Anne-Marie because she's not joining us today. And in fact, we're not going to have her on Friday either. So we will follow up with her next Tuesday. However, I am absolutely thrilled that you are printing off that Oracle butterfly. That's really awesome. Glad we covered that. And we will dip into Oracle a little bit more here. Good morning, Tom. Welcome back. Jane, good morning. It's great to see you as always. Whisk, good morning. As always. Yes, that girl. Good morning. As always. I'll be honest with you. Your handle just makes me get more excited. It's just, I want to say it with enthusiasm. And I love that. Crispy Biscuit. Good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge. Cue the music. And as the producer says, by the way, good morning, producer. As the producer says, Judge calling it every day now. We love it. And we love starting off the morning with a little positivity and some uplifting vibes. Durkis, good morning. Welcome back. Good to see you again as well. Brian, good morning. Welcome back. Corey, it's great to have you as always. Bernhard, welcome back. Ethan, welcome back. Marionette, welcome back. Good morning. Day Trader, good morning. Welcome back. Maverick, just passing through. Good morning. Welcome back to both of you. Chuck, good morning. It's great to see you again. Wiz says, USA disappointing loss. Wiz, I would agree with that. I'm going to ask Tim Melvin for his opinion here. I'm sure he's going to have something colorful for us. Really can't believe what I heard after the game. I actually heard it this morning. Can't believe that the manager wasn't aware of the stakes. Anyway, disappointing indeed. Kenneth, good morning. Welcome back. It's great to see you. JJ, good morning. Welcome back. Tyler, good morning. Time for a wild day. They have all been wild, and the volatility is still here, so we are expecting more of that here, my man. We're going to get you through it. We're going to have a good one, as we always do. Yasin, great to see you, as always. Hope you are doing well here. Yasin, I know you're in the Chicagoland area. Hopefully you were far away from the tornado that touched down in Kankakee last night. So hope everyone's ready. Let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right. Futures in the red slightly here today, and that was after being up slightly in the morning. So we're jostling around here a little bit. It is worth noting that we are up off of the morning lows. S&P futures down 0.1% or 1/10. Dow futures down 0.18%, and the NASDAQ futures down 0.12%. So all pretty much around unchanged and up off the lows. But when I first sat down, we were in the green, and looks like we are oscillating a little bit here prior to the open. Let's take a look at some cues from last session, shall we? Only communication services and information technology sectors rose slightly on Tuesday, whereas other S&P 500 sectors declined amid a mixed close. Investors are eyeing the February CPI data, with consensus expecting both headline and core to be roughly 2.5% year over year. We'll bring that to you as soon as that print comes out. Iran struck U.S. bases across 5 Middle Eastern nations, while a projectile ignited a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, forcing its evacuation. On Tuesday, President Trump warned Iran not to place naval mines at Hormuz, threatening severe military retaliation if such activity were confirmed. As I understand it, we've had minesweepers in that area for the last 35 years. Meanwhile, the International Energy Agency, or the IEA, has proposed the largest ever emergency release of its oil reserves to curb the soaring crude prices, exceeding the 152 million barrels released by member countries after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. I saw on CNBC earlier before we went on that figure was actually 400 million barrels. Although I haven't seen that anywhere else, it seemed like that reporting was pretty spot on. So maybe that's the number. Let me take a quick look here at crude. Crude's actually up 4.2%, holding just shy of 87 on the futures. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.16%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.59%. And as mentioned, it's a shoo-in that we are not going to have any change at the March meeting for the Fed, per the CME Fed Watch tool. Now, we have several stocks in focus for you here today, and the first one is an obvious one. It's going to be Oracle. This was the big earnings print of the night last week, and Oracle posted a good number as we expected, and the market is rewarding that here this morning. It's able to actually hold its gains. Did hit a high of 169.38 in the after hours yesterday. It's currently at 164.67 here today. So we'll see if Oracle gives back any of its gains or if it's able to continue to trade higher here. It did jump 10.71% in the pre-market on Wednesday following upbeat financial results for the third quarter of fiscal 2026 on Tuesday after the market closed. That print is as follows. Adjusted EPS of 196 to 2. That was versus the 195 estimate, so a slight beat there. And they see sales of 18.925 billion to 19.24 billion. That was versus the 19.122 billion estimate. They affirmed the full year sales guidance for 2026 at 67 billion, and they see full year 27 sales at 90 billion. That was versus the 86.632 billion estimate. The next stock on our list is going to be Domo, and the ticker is Domo, D-O-M-O. It soared 52.05% following the company's fourth quarter fiscal 2026 earnings release. It reported earnings of 3 cents per share, which was well above the expected loss of 17 cents per share. This represents a beat of 117.65% over the estimate. The next stock on our list is a decent one. It's Decent Holdings, and the ticker on this one is DXST. It rose 6.37% as its subsidiary SunCare signed an agreement with a regional senior care operator to expand its AI-enabled community healthcare network in China. The next stock on our list is going to be Cosmos Energy, and the ticker on this one is KOS. It plunged 15.35% after pricing a public offering of 97.5 million common shares at $190 per share on Tuesday, generating gross proceeds of $185.25 million. Aero Environment is the last stock on our list here today. This is ticker AVAV, and it dropped 9.28% after lowering its full year guidance following a third quarter miss. There was also a write-off as competition for drones is expanding, and the U.S. government may not pay Aero Environment as much money. So there's two things that we should watch here today. Number one, is there a sympathy play in other drone names because of the miss and the move down? Or is the market looking through that and saying, well, one of the reasons it's down is because it might be losing business to other drone companies? Remember, we saw UMAC really spike yesterday. We've seen Ondas with a lot of news recently, and we've seen another small guy like Arcat hold pretty steady. So definitely bears watching some of the other drone stocks on the back of this earnings print. All right, let's do the SPY chart. Let's see what we're doing. So yesterday, we did get the open that we were looking for. We did trade up, but we simply did not have the strength to recapture any of the moving averages that we had really wanted to recapture. And additionally, we were not able to close above the high of the candle from the day prior, the Monday candle. We had talked about, in order for this bullish engulfing candle to really continue, we wanted to see yesterday's candle close above the high of, or the closing price there of 678.27. We did not get that. So today we'll see if we probe some lower areas here, most notably going to be this 673 level, or if we make another move up to try and close above the 100 or the 20-day moving average. Because of this sideways trading since October, we are staring at three moving averages here, the 100, the 20, and the 50. Getting above them and getting several closes above them is absolutely going to be the first step in moving towards 700 if we're able to find the strength to do that. Ultimately, if we are not able to break higher, I would imagine pretty soon we're going to roll over and at a minimum test this 200-day. I've been saying for a while that if we break beneath the 200 and recapture it, that's going to be kind of a more bullish scenario. And I would be looking for that. I don't know when that's going to happen here. And I also don't know, depending on what the catalyst is that drives us down, I don't know if we're going to stop at the 200. It's also possible we break beneath it, retest, and try and recapture, only to fail and roll back over. So definitely have some watching to do here. I don't hold any of these SPY positions overnight. I just try to trade them during the day. So we'll see where the SPY goes, but these are some of the key levels that you folks should be aware of. All right, let's take a look at some insights from analysts here. Professor Jeremy Siegel's outlook for the U.S. economy and stock market is a study in contrasting signals. Well, he acknowledges that a market correction of greater than 10% is now, quote, much more likely, end quote, due to escalating geopolitical tensions with Iran. He maintains that the underlying economic fundamentals remain very strong. The most striking development is the divergence between stagnant payroll growth and rising GDP. Siegel interprets this not as a sign of a recession, but a, quote, sharp rise in productivity, end quote, likely driven by artificial intelligence and automation. I got to be honest with you. Last night, I spent more time than I realized having Claude teach me how to code and then also letting me code at the same time. I don't know that I've ever really felt like I can create something using computer code until AI. And I know I started with some indicators here, but I'm in the process of trying to build out a full-blown program now with this. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that a self-proclaimed novice is able to get as far as he is. So AI definitely has some positives there, definitely has a productivity increase. We'll see how that extrapolates across many different businesses over time here. Anyway, Siegel notes, quote, if firms are producing the same or more output with fewer workers, then it's classic definition of a productivity surge, end quote. For equity investors, this efficiency is a, quote, very favorable development, end quote, as it supports corporate margins and earnings growth. Although rising oil prices present a supply shock risk, Siegel believes the economy is resilient enough to avoid a bear market. He concludes that geopolitical pressures ease even slightly, quote, the market could be poised for a powerful rebound, end quote. And perhaps this is the key that we need to get us above 700 on the SPY. My thought is that we actually have to have this thing pretty wrapped up and traffic flowing through the strait before that's even a possibility. And if that doesn't happen soon, not only about the worry about oil prices, but this move up to 700 on the SPY, or this breakout from the stagnant sideways range that we're in, seemingly becomes less likely. I would almost expect a pullback first. One more thing to note about the market action here. We've talked a lot about seasonality, and I don't know if seasonality is going to hold up here. We've seen some of the other seasonality periods not align, like the Santa Claus rally and the down market in September. The seasonality tells us that we are supposed to bottom here with some of this weakness around mid-March. So I would say at the earliest this week, and at the latest not next week, but the following week. Again, I don't know if that's what we're going to get, but it bears watching because a lot of the seasonality kind of points to the same thing. Now, as far as economic data, as mentioned, February's consumer price index and core CPI data, along with year-over-year CPI and core CPI figures, will be out by 8:30 here. We'll bring them to you as soon as they are out. The monthly U.S. federal budget for February will be out by 2 Eastern here today. Okay, and some other news here regarding the oil market. President Trump on Tuesday announced plans for a proposed $300 billion in oil refinery in Brownsville, Texas, saying that the project would be backed by Indian billionaire Mukesh Ambani and Reliance Industries. Trump took to Truth Social on Tuesday to announce the opening of the first new U.S. oil refinery in 50 years as part of an effort to boost domestic energy production and deepen economic ties with global partners. I was having a discussion with Tim yesterday regarding the U.S.'s self-reliance on oil. And one of the things that we had come across is that we can refine light sweet crude, but our refining capabilities are not enough to meet the demand for the U.S. We actually also refine some of the heavy crude. So this makes sense. Although I would say it's probably going to take some time to get those refineries up, and I am not confident on a timeline on when there's going to be benefits seen from this new refinery. The refinery being developed by America First Refining is designed to process 100% U.S. shale oil, according to the Indian Express, and construction is expected to begin in April or June quarter this year, the April through June quarter, this year. Quote, in all caps, by the way, I'm not going to yell at you because I like all you folks, but in all caps, this is a historic $300 billion deal, the biggest in U.S. history, end quote. The president lauded India and Reliance for their substantial investment, but did not elaborate on whether the refinery was part of a broader pact with India. He hailed the project as a significant step for U.S. energy sector and a resurgence of the real energy dominance. Trump also asserted that the proposed facility would be the, quote, cleanest refinery in the world, end quote, generating billions and an economic impact and creating thousands of jobs in South Texas. Trump credited his administration's policies, including the America First agenda, streamlined permits, and lower taxes for the massive investment in the U.S. energy sector. He expressed optimism that the project would drive global exports and stimulate long-awaited economic growth in the region. Without naming Reliance, America First Refining stated that it secured a, quote, 9-figure investment from a global supermajor at a 10-figure valuation and signed a 20-year agreement with the same partner to purchase, process, and distribute U.S. shale oil. The refinery will process 1.2 billion barrels of light shale crude to boost U.S. refining capacity and strengthen the domestic energy supply chain. Trey Griggs is president of America Refining and said the U.S. has a surplus of light shale oil but limited refining capacity to process it, adding that the new refinery would help strengthen the domestic supply chain. The refinery is opening amid volatile oil markets being driven by the escalating Middle East conflict, with crude briefly crossing $100 per barrel over the weekend. Prices did rise again on Wednesday despite plans for the historic emergency reserve release and earlier easing to $85 per barrel on Tuesday, after Trump suggested the war could end soon. When last checked, that's really incredible. When last checked, WTI crude is trading 4.37% higher at 87.11. Notably, higher fuel prices typically benefit shale refiners. In October, after the U.S. imposed sanctions on Russia's largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, Reliance Industries, India's biggest buyer of Russian crude and owned by Ambani, moved to cut or suspend shipments in line with guidance from the Indian government. However, amid oil supply disruptions caused by the ongoing conflict, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Washington has granted India a temporary 30-day waiver to purchase Russian oil cargoes already stranded at sea. Meanwhile, the U.S. and India signed an interim trade deal in February with further discussions already underway to finalize a broader agreement. All right, let's talk about Oracle. Let me go back to Pro. We'll start with the chart, then we'll dive into the actual print itself. Here's what we're looking at on the daily. Yesterday, stock closed at 149.5. Today, we are up 10%, and we're doing a really good job holding that so far through the pre-market. The good news on the gap up is that we've moved above the 20-day moving average, and it looks like that 50-day not out of reach here today. 50-day moving average at 168.10. We're currently at 164.5. So really only 4 points of movement there to challenge that. We'll see if we're able to get above that level and close above that level. After a discussion yesterday in happy hour, Richard, actually, who I believe is here this morning, talked about Oracle really kind of being too big to really keep selling off here. And we were trying to identify different spots where the stock might bottom. We have 13's trend line on here, which looks pretty good and has provided the near-term bottom. But the one thing that we wanted to emphasize is that although it appears as if we've started to rebound here, and better still if we're able to recapture that 50-day moving average, we are basically in this sideways area or this consolidation area that goes all the way back to the fall of 2024. So it's great that we've moved off the bottom here. I completely concur. I don't think Oracle is really going anywhere. We're kind of having a repricing here as we figure out the AI spending and all of that. But this thing has a ton of use even before AI. So I think that even if we recapture the 50, there's going to be some pretty substantial levels all the way up to 195-ish that we're going to have to get over. I don't necessarily think if we recapture the 50, we're going to have a straight shot up to the 200. Even if we do end up moving there at some point, I'm expecting some volatility in this range. And just to give you some numbers on that range real quick, this is about depending on how you draw your lines, this is about 162 to 196. That area, previous trading area, lots of buyers and sellers in there. And it's going to take some work to actually get through there, I suspect. Oracle reported financial results, and we got 7 minutes till the CPI. I'm keeping my eye on the clock. Oracle reported financial results for the third quarter of fiscal 2026 on Tuesday after the market closed. We talked about the headline number here. Let me dive into some of the different segments. Total revenue was up 22% year over year on a year over year basis, as cloud revenue climbed 44% and software revenue rose by 3%. A further breakdown is as follows. Cloud was $8.9 billion. That was up 44%. Cloud infrastructure was $4.9 billion. That was up 84%. Cloud database was up 35%. Cloud application was at $4 billion. That's up 13%. Fusion Cloud ERP $1.1 billion, up 17%. And NetSuite Cloud ERP $1.1 billion. That was up 14%. Remaining performance obligations totaled $553 billion at the end of the third quarter, which was a 325% year-over-year increase. Oracle ended the period with approximately $38.46 billion in cash and cash equivalents. Their board declared a quarterly cash dividend of 50 cents per share, payable on April 24th to shareholders of record on April 9th. Oracle expects fourth quarter revenue to grow 18 to 20% on a year-over-year basis, which is roughly in line with estimates. Total cloud revenue is expected to be up between 44 and 48%. Adjusted earnings per share is expected to be between 196 and 2 and in the fourth quarter versus the estimate of 195. The company continues to expect fiscal 2026 revenue of $67 billion. Oracle also guided for fiscal 2027 revenue of $90 billion versus the estimate of 86.6. Quote, the demand for cloud computing for AI training and inference continues to grow faster than supply. Furthermore, some of the largest consumers of AI cloud capacity have recently strengthened their financial positions quite substantially. The market dynamics enable Oracle to comfortably meet and likely exceed our revenue growth rate forecast for fiscal year 2027 and beyond, end quote. Oracle, of course, had their conference call. We can break that down a little bit more if we need to as the day goes on. But again, another quick check here. Oracle 164.64 here in the pre-market. So doing an all right job so far, holding in there. Now, the other stock that reported earnings, which we kind of already talked about, is going to be AVAV. And we'll start with the chart, but then we'll dive into the report itself. AVAV currently at 198.86. And this is key because we've recently had kind of a nasty formation here. We talked a little bit about this with Anne-Marie yesterday. I joked that this looks like a possible rabbit head and shoulders with a left shoulder, a double top that makes rabbit ears, and then a possible right shoulder that can form over here. We might not have to worry about that. We've been in a downtrend. We've really not been able to get above the 20-day moving average. In fact, we've actually been beneath it almost all year here. We crossed beneath it in the end of January. We've lost the 20, we've lost the 50, we've lost the 200. We tried to recapture the 200 twice and the 50 on those same attempts, couldn't, ended up rolling back over, found support at the 500, actually consolidated above the 500 for a little bit, which was given some good vibes. And then with the earnings report yesterday, we're gapping beneath that. So one thing to expect here, if AVAV does bounce here today, I am definitely expecting some resistance at the 213.63 level. That is that 500-day moving average. I would expect it's going to use this as resistance as it just used it as support before breaking through it. Otherwise, we did fill the gap that goes all the way back to June of 2025, so that's done. There's a little bit of a consolidation in here at around 190. Let me try and get that range for you. 187 to 200. That was from a little spike there. I would actually say 187 to about 196 is that consolidation area. And then maybe beneath that, I think you're probably looking at 172 or somewhere in the 170 handle for possible next support. We'll watch AVAV today as well as some of its peers to see how this trades here today. But let's go over the actual report here. Shares did tumble more than 9% in Wednesday's pre-market trading after the defense technology company reported quarterly earnings and revenue that missed the expectations and lowered their fiscal 2026 profit outlook. AeroVironment reported third quarter earnings of 64 cents per share, which missed the consensus, and they had quarterly revenue of $408 million, which missed the estimate of $475 million. Despite the miss for revenue for the third quarter of fiscal 2026, despite the miss, revenue for the third quarter of fiscal 2026 rose 143% year over year. That was driven by higher product sales and increased service revenue. The company also lowered its fiscal 2026 adjusted earnings outlook, projecting earnings of $275 to $310. The new forecast is below both prior guidance figures of $340 and $355. Quote, "Well, our third quarter results were impacted by revenue timing and adjustments in our space business. Demand for our unique solutions remain robust." That comes from Wahid Nawabi, AeroVironment Chairman, President, and CEO. Quote, "Strong order flow and growth in funded backlog during the quarter are setting the stage for record fourth quarter revenue and a solid start to fiscal year 2027, end quote. As of January 31st, 2026, AeroVironment reported a funded backlog of $1.1 billion, up from $726.6 million as of April 30th, reflecting rising demand for the company's defense and aerospace technologies. The company recorded a $151.3 million goodwill impairment for the third quarter of fiscal 2026 after receiving a January 2026 stop work order related to its other transaction agreement to deliver Badger phased array antenna systems for Space Force's Satellite Communication Augmentation Resource, or SCAR program. Management determined the order was a triggering event, indicating that the carrying value of space reporting unit exceeded its fair value. Following the order, the company revised its long-term cash flow projections for the space unit to reflect lower expected revenue tied to the paused program. The updated outlook, also factors in higher anticipated research and development spending and capital investments required to commercialize the product. The stock is trading about 18.6 below its 20-day simple moving average, as we just took a look at, and 31.7% below its 100-day SMA, demonstrating significant weakness. We have some key levels here. We just took a look at the chart, but we have a key resistance here of 202.5. We have a key support down there at 196. Remember, that's about the top end of that consolidation range. If we can stay out of it, we'll see. Canaccord has a buy on it, but they lowered their target to 330. That was on March 4th. RBC hasn't outperformed. They lowered their target to 325. That was on March 3rd. And Baird hasn't outperformed with a target of 260. That also came from March 3rd. It's got a really good momentum score in our Benzinga rankings here, 86th percentile. The stock is outperforming the broader market, but it's a high flyer setup. So while the momentum score confirms a strong trend, the extremely low value score warns that the stock is priced for perfection, and anything that may jitter it or anything that it releases may cause that price to fluctuate. It does have some ETF exposure, as we've discussed. The S&P Aerospace, or the XAR, it's got a 4.49% weighting in that. The ARC Autonomous Technology and Robot ETF, that's ARC-Q, has a 4% weighting. And the ARC-X, which is the space and defense, it has a 6.8% rating. All right. Let me go check the CPI print here. It looks like the market is unchanged. We've gone red to green, but we're basically unchanged. I don't want to take too much away from that. Let's see what the actual print has for us here. Okay, US CPI month over month for February, 0.3 versus the 0.3 estimate, in line. US core CPI year over year for February, 2.5 versus the 2.5 estimate, in line. USA CPI year over year for February, 2.4 versus the 2.4 estimate. That is in line. So we are in line here on all of that. S&P futures look relatively unchanged. We're actually, we're down 0.01%. So we are basically flat here. The one thing to take note is that this reporting period ended before the start of the conflict. So it doesn't include anything that might be a result of that conflict. That will be in the next CPI report that we get. But so far here in line, market looks like it's just kind of, we'll wait for the open. We'll see how it goes. All right. Let me go back to the chart here. It's Wednesday. Y'all know what that means. It's time for Tim. Let's see what he is going to bring us here today. Let's go ahead and bring on Tim Melvin. Tim, good morning. How you doing?
The fact that you preempted me by 3 minutes for some dumbass government report, Ryan, is just, that's like an insult.
All right. Well, I'm not going to insult you because that's never the goal.
I'm going to have to get all Don Corleone here, you on. And this I shall see as an insult. No.
Okay. Well, good luck with that. But what the other thing here is that I am gonna maybe, I don't want to say make you mad, but I might ruffle your feathers a little bit here. What the hell happened with the U.S. baseball team last night?
It's not ruffling the feathers. They played terrible. It's, they rested some guys. They way underestimated.
Yeah. Did the manager know that they needed this game, or didn't seem like it?
He says he did, and that he misspoke on the morning show, but they played like they thought they had a pass through. And now they need Mexico to win by 4 runs or less, or some really
that Mexican team is good. So
yeah,
that's
they're good.
Possible.
They're good.
But
they're playing the Italians, who are also good. So
that's true.
But they played like they had nothing on the line. They played throughout this tournament. If you go back and you watch some of the games, the offense was inevitably going to get some runs. They haven't played with any urgency in this whole tournament.
Okay. Well, maybe this is the fire that they needed and the kick in the pants that they needed.
You know what? If Mexico wins by a certain number, by 4 runs or by 5 runs or more, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Mexico and Italy will go.
Okay. Go Mexico.
That Italian team was almost entirely major leaguers.
Yeah, I know.
To have underestimated them was stupid.
Totally agree. All right, Tim, that dumbass government report that you just cited, causing the market to move lower here. S&P futures actually dipping. We're down almost 0.2 here. Get in there.
Let's talk about this report for a minute, okay? This report, as you very correctly pointed out, all that data is pre-conflict, okay? Now, but when you go in, and I only had a quick second as it came out to run through, when you look at that vaunted 2.4% number, right? For the year over year, that's cool. But you know what's not in that? The hot PPI number from last month is not in there yet. The manufacturing inventory, starter basically 15% increase is not in there. The PCE inflation. So inputs into this thing were already going up. Okay. And then we have the war. So that number's gonna heat up. When I look at this number, Ryan, food at home groceries, that's up 3.1. Okay. What's down is fossil fuel energy, gasoline, and again, pre-oil, right? Fuel oil. Um, gas is up 10%. All items, less food and energy, up quite a bit. So all the stuff that we actually use, shelter up 3%, medical care up 4%, insurance costs, shocker, we're up again. Um, so all the stuff that we use day to day is up. Energy, that major input, is what's keeping the lid on on inflation levels. Oh, and used cars and trucks, they've been falling all year. So if we get higher energy inputs into this thing and they remain sustained, to your point, the longer this thing goes on, the worse it is for inflation. We were heating before this war started, and that's not in this CPI number. And that's why you're seeing kind of a reaction to it, I think, this morning.
675 looks to be the pre-market level that the SPY needs to hold. We'll see if we do that. That's what I have on the chart here.
Yeah. And, look, the war is turning into a mess, right? And Iran is going to do everything they can to drag this out for as long as they can, because that's how they win, right? And I don't want to go down the political rabbit hole, but if the current administration stays in power when the bombing's all done, they win. All right. And so we'll see how it all plays out. I don't think that we're done being messy with that, but I bought you guys some cool stuff today.
Okay, let's talk about the cool stuff.
Yeah, let's get into that. We're going to skip the Schiller PE strategy. Here's a very cool one. A paper came out and it looks at what really protects your portfolio. And I think we talked about this briefly one morning not too long ago. But the authors of the study went through and they looked at a 60-40 portfolio, the one that everybody has in their 401k, unless they rebalanced it themselves. Which shockingly, most people do not. Most people take the whatever came with the package. So they look at 8 major drawdowns in the markets exceeding 20% for a 60-40 mix, which is quite a bit because that means stocks and bonds are both going down a whole bunch. They go all the way back to 1800 looking at data. They look at the 71% collapse during World War I. Yeah, you thought that 5% last week was something? Yeah, no. The Great Depression, 45%, and then of course the more recents. Now, here's what they looked at. Gold. Gold is the portfolio diversifier, protects your portfolio, except it doesn't work. It fails miserably. When the 60-40 bonds are falling, stocks are falling, have gone down, on average, gold has had a negative return. And that's because the conditions that lead to these really bad drawdowns are going to be weakening economies, more of a depression, recession than a highly inflationary environment. So gold has actually done fairly poorly. Now, if you think about it, gold, a lot of the really bad crashes are caused by a long period of inflation that then causes a crash, right? So gold has run up before the crash. So gold is not really a market hedge at all in practice. Put options.
All right, look, you chose to say this. So if things start flying out of the audience towards your head, it's not my fault.
Well, and here's the thing. It's not my fault either. I didn't write this. I didn't write this particular study. And Hamid, I swear to you, if I had $1 for every time somebody said to me during my career, wait till gold hits 10,000, I would have more money than you could possibly make by being leveraged gold long from now till it hits 10,000. That's a prediction that comes and goes and comes and goes, and maybe it will this time.
Tim, your wife's back, so you're wrong now, according to Lion.
Well, Lion, she's sleeping, so I'm still right. So, okay. And look, and as I said, I didn't do this study, but I will tell you that again, 35 plus years. All right. I've made money in gold, but I made money in gold because I bought the miners when they traded below book value.
It all comes back to book value with Timbo.
It all comes back to book value. It all comes back to credit value, period. Whoever did that study does not need to go back to school because I actually looked at the data, guys. All right. The vast majority of time in a severe market crash, gold went down. That's just a historical fact. I'm sorry that it doesn't fit your bias and your narrative. It just happens to be true. Now, the next one kind of irritates my personal bias just a little bit because they do say that put options, using put options to hedge, are effective in sharp, steep drops, but they do lose money over time. Now, they correctly point out it's about 2.5% annualized that you'll lose just rolling put options continuously over long periods of time. Okay. However, if you adapt that along a la Spitznagel and Taleb for black swans and you go way, way out of the money, that number actually becomes a positive number over time. So, they offended you with gold. They offended me with the put options because I don't think they looked at all the possible options. And if you remember just last week, we talked about a study that buying put options 5% out of the money and rebalancing monthly actually has a positive rate of return, although exceptionally lumpy because you'll lose money in like 7 of the 10 years and make all your money in the 3 years, and most people can't handle that. So put options, effective, but can be expensive, right? It's like paying for insurance.
Sure.
Treasuries, worse than gold. When correlations go to zero, bonds drop too. In fact, a sell-off in the bond market is usually and often what drags stock markets down as interest rates go higher and make the cost of financing. Now, when they look at equity factors, staying with low risk stocks, low beta, staying with quality, we're staying with value, all do better than the market in a collapse, all of them. Okay. Quality and value are the strongest. Value is the strongest in a recovery, but they do go down. Okay. The authors do point out that focusing on quality, which Ryan, we've talked about, quality means equals profit.
Oh, yeah.
Equals profitability, period. Okay. Novi Marks did that work and it's really good. And we can talk more about that sometime if you guys want, because we can teach you how to define quality. All three do better than the market in bad markets. Value coming out of a bad market is by far the recovery winner. It's shorter, faster, stronger. Trend following. This one works. It works all the time. If you just take, and it used to be you had to go into the futures market because you could, but if you short the SPY, short whatever, when it goes below the 200-day moving average, or you get out of the market when it goes under the 200-day and get back in, which is cumbersome, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
Better off doing the short. That's a huge positive win-win. That's the almost perfect protection when the markets collapse. Now, understand, there will be some whipsaw. There's going to be times where it goes below the S&P 500, below the 200-day, and then goes right back above it. Right, and that's just kind of part of the way that game is played. But trend following absolutely works, and it works extremely well. So what's interesting here is that gold and treasuries are always talked about as the way to hedge your portfolio, and in practice, by math, by history, not my opinion, counting 1, 2, 3, you know how that works. Counting, they haven't worked. Okay, so it challenges, and they hit me on the put options. They challenge everybody's bias a little bit, but they make you think. And it turns out that, paying attention to what kind of stocks you're buying on the front end of this thing, quality, value, that gives you a bit of a cushion, and then just simple trend following. And
really quickly, this is one of the reasons why you and I do these webinars in the evening where we show you how to identify exactly these stocks that meet this criteria. Whether it's value, quality, whatever trend you're looking for. This is why we put that stuff in Pro so that users could do that every day. And this is why you and I take time out of our evening to cover that.
Yep. And so anyway, and I know I made some people mad and they didn't like me because I said gold, and gold, everybody loves gold. But look, it's not a market hedge. Gold has its purpose. gold does hold purchasing power better than anything. But here's another one that, if you're mad now, here, let me pour some gas on that fire.
Oh, here we go.
Long term, gold's done exactly what it's supposed to do. It's held value, hasn't added much at all. Okay.
So you're saying it's a really good long-term store of value.
That's exactly correct. It's a store of value. It's not going to add value. And if you want to make money in gold, you look around. Now, today, everybody loves gold. There will come a time, much like we saw a few years ago, where everybody hates gold, right? Because there's never going to be inflation again. Everything's perfect. La, 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 la. Gold is, who needs gold? Doesn't pay dividends and nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. The miners are trading at 75% of book value. Buy as much gold as you can get. It's going to go higher from there. Okay, so that's just my thought on gold.
Okay.
Now, here's a cool one that you guys will like. Those of you with a bit of a trading bent. We all know the mean reversion trading, right?
Oh, yeah.
Buy stocks that have fallen really sharply in the short term. There's a good chance they're going to bounce.
Yep.
Stock that rises, kind of like Oracle did this morning.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We're actually seeing that here this morning.
Right.
Here's the best example I can come up with today.
Right. So they pop higher, and so you short them, and they, generally speaking, those things self-correct during the course of the day. People have made fortunes off that simple paragraph there. Okay. And, simple rules. RSI 2-day drives below 15, exit when it rises above 50. It's pretty good. But you're going to get a big number on a down day, right? You're going to have like 1,000 stocks to choose from. So now, how do we figure out from all this activity that's going on, because there's mean reversion opportunities, how do we figure out which ones to do? Well, I'm going to tell you. And this is a guy, Cracking Markets is the website, I believe. But anyway, he uses implied volatility to time the entries. All right. So he's going to go in and he's going to look at the daily implied volatility. And I'm going to tell you how to calculate that in a second. Now, you can get implied volatility information from the exchanges, from a bunch of different sites. It's usually free. Brian, do we have implied volatility on our options quotes?
Yes, but yeah, we do. But here, like, for example, if I go to the options tag here, I thought we did. Guess not. That's still on the docket to be added here.
Okay, well, it's easy to find. All right. So you're going to look at the implied volatility. So if the implied volatility suggests that a stock should move 1.6% a day, and all of a sudden you get up one morning, the stock's down 3%. Okay, that's an overshot of that number. So we're going to look for the large overshoots. So if this is adaptive, RSI is a fixed kind of signal.
Mm-hmm.
It's adaptive. It's down more than it should be. The stock may hit that 2-day RSI, but it's down what implied volatility says it should be down. All right. This gives you a different way to do it. So IV is more forward looking. RSI is more backward looking. It tells you what the options market, which along with the bond market, usually smarter than the stock market. Okay. A lot more math and brain power powering that market than there is most days in the stock market. So we get all of the information. We use the implied volatility mean reversion. So if it's moved more than the IV says it should on a daily basis, then that's the trade we want to take. This works unbelievably well, by the way. Now, we're going to take implied volatility. We can get it on the web.
It's in your broker too. I mean,
it's in most brokers.
Thinkorswim allows you to scan for high implied volatility. I'm certain of it.
Right. So we are going to divide the implied volatility by the square root of 252, 15.87. Okay. That's going to give you your daily volatility. All right. So a 30% annual implied volatility is about 1.89% daily volatility. You would have to set up a program to do this. Newsflash, if you were listening around a little while ago, Claude can do this for you. So that's a handy little quiver to stick into your trading basket if you're doing mean reversion. Is this stock up or down significantly more than the options market is telling me it should be moving?
That's really interesting, Tim, because I actually do a lot of mean reversion trades, especially for some of the short-term ones, just because it seems to work so well. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of our chat end up looking for that too. I don't think I've ever looked at implied volatility and looked for the outliers. That's quite a good idea. I might have to incorporate that. We should ask Anne-Marie about that too.
Yes,
I'm sure she incorporates that into some of her trades. I'm 100% sure.
I'm sure. Yeah, and it's just, implied vol. If you're trading options and you don't understand implied vol in the Greeks, you're a one-legged man in an ass kicking contest. Okay.
I've never heard that one before.
That's Charlie.
Not bad.
That's Charlie Mungers. He said that if you didn't learn statistics and probability, you were going through life as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. And Warren Buffett's cool with all the down home apple pie, but Munger was a grouchy old man who got rich using basic value investing, and he just wants to be left alone to read books and for the kids to stay off his damn lawn while he's watching a baseball game. He's kind of like my spirit animal.
I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you did.
All right. Now, speaking of spirit animals, Howard Marks of Oak Tree Capital, one of the better. Marks is, I really admire Howard Marks because he was a player in high yield bonds and high yield credit is in the 70s. He was one of the co-founders right in there. He was right in there slinging elbows and breaking teeth beside Michael Milken. Milken comes out the bad guy. Marks never got involved on the underwriting side or the deal making side. He stayed on the credit, buying the good stuff and selling the bad stuff side, made an absolute fortune, and he's not painted with the same unfortunate brush that Michael Milken got painted with. He didn't have to deal with that little would-be fascist Judge Kimball Woods. But anyway, don't get me started. I have no opinion.
You already came in hot today. We're going to try and tone this down. You and Lyon are going to go in. I'll tell you what, I'd pay to see the cage match between you and Lyon.
I expect we agree on more than we disagree. But
he's telling you that your bank stocks are trash and that he's the winner. It's literally what he just said.
Well, no, that's not true. I mean, we can
cage
cut
match, fight night.
We can cut heads on that one if you'd like, but that's all right. And as I said, I'm not anti-gold. Buying gold at the right time has been an incredibly lucrative trade. It's all timing. But anyway, Marx was talking about private credit, and this is something that I'll run out of time before I get all the things said I want to say about private credit. But Marx has said, look, private credit's expanded dramatically, and Oaktree's, by the way, a huge player in private credit, and it's gone to since 2009, it's gone from basically this tiny little market to over $1 trillion market, because the banks backed away from certain types of lending. So direct lending has really boomed. Now there's going to be some issues, right? And we're seeing it. We see these deals, these headline deals, First Brands and Tricolor, and the deal over in UK, I think it was MFP. They have a common thread, right? There was stupidity involved. There's nothing about the company couldn't pay the bills, business was bad because of a recession or a weak economy. The people underwriting the deal this late in the credit cycle are like, every deal I've looked at for the last 15 years has worked and worked beautifully. I'm just not going to do the homework. I'm just going to poof, rubber stamp, send this one on down the line, we'll all make money. Except eventually you run into the issuer like First Brand, like MFP, they're doubling counting revenue streams. So they're pledging this revenue stream. It's a high quality AAA revenue stream, right? It's going to get paid. It's like magic. There's no way you're not getting paid on this thing. But they pledge it to 3 different lenders as a senior pledge. And that's what happened in both these deals. And then the Tricolor deal was subprime auto. And I just can't, there's so many stupid people involved in this chain of events that it's hard to decipher. The genius is the guy who got everybody to take his credit off his hands to take all those loans, and he walked away to the bank laughing. So what we're seeing in private credit, according to Marx, and I agree with this 1,000%, it's not a systemic issue, right? Private credit could become a systemic issue. This isn't it. This is not a major economically sensitive, wave of collapses. It's not a wave of defaults. Software is also way it's top of everybody's mind because we discounted software streams forever and ever. And as Ryan just told you, and I don't code either, right? But I've been able to do some pretty cool stuff with Claude without even really trying so far.
It's wild.
Yeah. Well, my son-in-law, who I know can't code, sat down and he and his partner, they built a whole big thing in like 48 hours, and it's massive. And it's one of those things that, back in the old days, we would have given it to the software guys in-house and they'd have come back in 6 months with a prototype. Right now, you can just sit down and keep asking Claude questions, and it does it. It's amazing. That is a game changer for software because we discounted these things as permanent revenue streams. They're not permanent anymore. So that's going to reprice that. Now, everybody immediately looked at that and said, wow, we've made a lot of loans in private credit to the software industry. So this is bad for them, right? No, it's really bad for the equity side of these things, right? Because the equity is now worthless on the discounted cash flow model. However, most of the loans in here, 5 years or less in loan maturity, the revolution's coming, but all this installed software is not going to get replaced over the next 5 years. These loans are going to get paid. They get paid. They're going to get refinanced. They'll get assumed by an acquirer. There's not a lot of credit risk in them. And this is consistent. If you look at BDC earnings for the quarter, everybody's made a big deal because we've seen some dividend cuts in business development companies. The dividend cuts had way more to do with the fact that it's a floating rate loan portfolio and rates have been down right over the last year. So we're seeing some dividend right sizes. You look at the Midcap Financial, which is the Apollo BDC, everybody dumped this thing because they cut the dividend. They right sized it. They took it to match the actual cash flows because it's a pass-through vehicle. But they have excess cash and borrowing capability on top of that. They bought back 1 million shares of stock in the quarter and announced another $100 million stock buyback. All right. So they've got the dividend to match cash flows, but excess they're now going to use in payoffs, they're going to use to buy back stock. I'll buy that stock on the dividend cut every time. In fact, I did. So private credit's not this big, horrible threat. Smaller players that have weaker underwriting standards and have been too aggressive and Jeffries. Somehow we were talking about this last night. I don't know how the hell Jeffries did it because those are some smart guys, but they've ended up holding the chunk of every bad deal. But some of the smaller BDCs, some of the ones with weaker underwriting, some of the ones that have gotten too aggressive and a little stupid, are going to have problems. The bigger ones, guys, these things keep getting beat up like this. We're trading at 25 and 30% discounts to stated NAV. When there's a recovery, they're going to make some people rich, and I hope you're one of them. So Mark's just saying, look, there's going to be some isolated issues. There's a lot of money that's come into this. It's a lot of money that's not necessarily from the credit space, and they could have problems. And one of the big ones that people don't understand is these are not liquid stocks, right? If you get a run on these things and they have to sell loans, you get a self-reinforcing. That's what I'm waiting for, Ryan. I want to see the run, and we've seen some signs of it with like the Blue Owls deal, where too many people are trying to get out of a closed door, and the door is contractually closed. Because this is what aggravates me. This went on with the Blackstone Real Estate Fund. Everybody signed the form, said, okay, I understand. Only 2.5% of the fund NAV can be returned in any given quarter on the redemption date. Now everybody wants all their money right now. The purpose of that clause is not to harm you. It's to make sure that we're not selling at fire sale prices to meet excess demands. Now everybody's upset about.
Which would in turn harm you.
Right. Now everybody is upset that the contract clause that they signed is being reinforced. Anyway,
sounds familiar.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what Mark's had to say. He had some other great stuff to say on AI, basically agreeing with you, Ryan, that this is just going to get further. Hamid, you can fact check me, my friend, from now till hell freezes.
I was wondering if you were going to see that.
Because I'm not just sitting here spouting opinions, my friend. It's all backed up by data. Okay. So, and by the way, I sent Ryan all the studies. So if you really want to check the data, Ryan, send him the studies.
He doesn't email me. He does what? First of all, I did not get an email from you, but Lion does a lot of drive-bys. He drops his comments here in the chat, but he never emails me. So I don't have his email address, unfortunately.
I thought I sent these last night, right?
No, I never saw them.
Well, you better check again because I sent them last night.
I'm checking right now. Not here.
Okay, well, hold on.
Speaking of fact checking, Lion, we do it live. F it, we'll do it live.
Ryan, Florida. Did I send that to Ryan?
Oh, did you send it to my personal, buddy?
Oh, you know what? I did. Sorry about that.
I don't have it here either, actually. So.
Oh, well, I don't know what the hell
we're going to have to look. We're going to have to coordinate. Tim, we're running out of time. We're going to have to coordinate on this another time.
Just sent it to you. There's another study in there. Brian, put this one in the chat. The electrics one, Fighting Words. That's the J.P. Morgan piece on renewable energy and the energy outlook. That's a must read if you're going to invest in energy.
Okay. Okay. When I get it, I will do it. I don't have anything yet here. So
you must have me blocked, dude.
I definitely don't have you blocked. You've made me too much money to have me blocking you for anything. So anyway, Tim, I appreciate it. I'll make sure I get this stuff at some point. So if you want any of the source materials so that you can fact check Tim yourself, we will absolutely do that. Tim, thanks for joining us. Catch up with you next time.
All right, guys, thanks for everything. We'll see y'all next week. I hope I didn't insult anybody too badly. And if I did, I'll apologize or something next week. Have a great week, everybody. Stay profitable. Stay safe.
All right. Tim, thanks very much. We always appreciate it. We're just having fun today. Take care. All right. That is Tim Melvin. Like I said, we're just having some fun here. Just a couple of folks having some fun. All right, real quick, I do want to do 2 quick street tweets. I know we got 13 chomping at the bit, so we're going to go ahead and get him on here too. But first, what's the okay? Stop me if you've heard this before. It is about oil. The IEA has proposed the largest release in oil reserves in history, exceeding the 102 million barrel record set in 2022 per the Wall Street Journal. Deals include the proposal was circulated at an emergency meeting today. This is yesterday, so this is on Tuesday. Countries are expected to decide on the proposal today, Wednesday. The proposal will be adopted if none objects, but even one country's protest could delay the plan. IEA members currently hold 1.2 billion barrels of crude reserves. Oil prices are still up 60% since September. So that's still something to watch. I know a lot of you folks are trading oil or at minimum watching what's going on with oil. Producer, next tweet. Next tweet here is from our friend Gary Black, and it's not about Tesla and robo-taxis. This one's going to be about AV, and this is kind of what I alluded to earlier. Let me give you the full length thing here from Gary Black. It's down 9% after reducing its 2026 guidance and reporting that the U.S. Space Force and AV were unable to come to terms to modify the existing contract for the Badger ground antenna system, which has been paused. The U.S. Space Force has concluded to terminate AV's existing contract, but allow AV to compete for the program with revised requirements. The company took a 151 million non-cash charge triggered by the loss of that government contract. Significantly, the company's funded backlog of 1.1 billion and unfunded backlog of 3 billion will be reduced by the 1.5 billion unfunded government contract that is now terminated. So does this, just kind of going back to the initial question when we were talking about the earnings, how bad is this actually for AV, and what, if any, opportunities does this create in competitor names? That will also be something we are going to watch. All right. It's time for Pre-Market Pulse and our main man, 13. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Well, that's my fault. Producer's got it. I'm screwing.
All right, I'm moving around. But I guess
Producer?
I missed the cage match, didn't I?
No, it's not yet been scheduled. We will absolutely televise the cage match. Let me just tell you that right now. We get a cage match here together. Look, Tim, don't sleep on Tim. That's all I'll say here. I don't want to spoil anything in case we take bets and we make a book on it, but don't sleep on Tim.
I'm just making one question. I don't need anyway.
Nope, we're having fun. I warned everyone we were going to have fun. That's what we're doing.
To your point about AV, we had had a question last night about that, whether or not it's going to affect all the drone names, and we kind of alluded to this being kind of just on AV itself. And with that tweet and some of the other, reading into the earnings report, it does look like it's kind of isolated to this company. So I don't think it's going to, have a widespread effect. Maybe
so you don't think any other competitors are going to maybe step in for that Space Force budget?
Well, That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think that this is going to have a widespread negative effect on the drone names.
So the sympathy move down is not necessarily going to move down some of the other names. That tracks for me.
If there's any relationship there, it's probably going to see a little bit of movement, but this is mostly isolated to AV, and I think that it's going to likely be better for their competitors.
Okay. 13, before we dive into this, good morning, Jay. I'm super thrilled that you have joined us here today because I have been waiting. Just like I shouted it out, it was you and Big Bees. Just like I shouted you guys out yesterday, you are due for another one. Jay, he's hot right now. We're going to talk about Kohl's here real quick. I actually mentioned this to Tim Melvin yesterday, right before we started our presentation, and how good this call was. Jay here saying, Ryan, did you see the fade in Kohl's yesterday? ? Just like the others. Humble too, Jay is. Remember, if we go back to yesterday, Jay had reminded us when Kohl's was ripping out of the gate, literally a power candle to the upside. Jay had reminded us that other retailers like Gap, Abercrombie, and even American Eagle, powered by Sydney Sweeney, all gave up their gaps. And he was saying that while this was screaming higher. Look what happened. We closed flat. So, Jay, great call. Absolutely great call on that. I got to say, I actually didn't trade this just because I was kind of on tilt yesterday from missing the huge trade in the morning. I did not trade this yesterday, but keep bringing us this stuff, man. The earlier you get this for the group to think about, the more people it can impact. We really appreciate that. And I will keep shouting out great ideas and calls here from our chat. This is how we raise the tide for everybody. Okay. 13, is there anything individual you want to cover? Should we just go right to the movers list like we normally do?
Yeah, we can go right to the movers list, and it's not a great list, so I won't be talking too much about it.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys didn't show up to hear 13 talk a whole lot, because it doesn't sound like he's going to be doing a lot of that. We'll start.
I'll still talk with whatever the chat wants to throw at me.
Again, you guys are missing it. We're having fun today. Come on now. All right. First stock here is going to be Domo. We talked about this a little bit in the Stocks in Focus when we opened the program here, but now let's dive in a little bit more. Domo shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q4 financial results. Now, Domo here provides a cloud-based platform that digitally connects all the data, systems, and people in an organization, giving them access to real-time data and their smartphones. Company offers a platform to its customers as a subscription-based service. So we got earnings here. We got a good print on this. Stock is higher by 41.15%. Just for clarity here, this is a stock with 183 million market cap. So this is absolutely one of the small players. Quick peek at the float here, 31.32 million. Easy for me to say. On average, stock only trades 1.26 million shares. Today, it's done 7.6 million shares. That's notable. We take a look at the short interest here, 11.79% of the float shorted. Elevated, but not high. Days to cover here, 2.47. It's something, but it's not a whole lot. It's not above our 5 threshold. So 13, what do you have here on the chart? Looks like we got a double top up near 7 to me.
It does look like that to me too. So waiting to see if we can actually get back above 645. That's a bit of a resistance area. So we'll see what happens there. I see that there's a seller in the way at 630. We'll have to see some better volume in order to get past him. The company does have about 2 quarters worth of cash at their current cash burn rate. So they will have to either have that revenue. They'll have to start generating more revenue or raise that capital with their earnings beats. It's a good sign, but I don't get the sense that they're out of the woods yet. So I'm not saying that they're going to necessarily raise cash today. I don't think that's likely, but they may have to consider doing in the future. So as far as Domo goes, could be limited upside today. This is in the AI cloud software space, as a number of companies that we've traded recently are. So maybe we are seeing a turnaround here with those. But for now, looks like the support's going to be down at 6, and resistance is going to be at about that 630, 640 area. Which way we break first, it's likely the direction we go for the morning.
Okay, and the fair value gaps that I had on here were actually in this early price action here in the morning. None of them are unmitigated, so they don't exist going into the open here. So nothing on the docket there. All right, next one here is going to be CYN. This is one that we've traded a bunch. I recognize this ticker. This is Syngin. This thing popped up towards 220, back down. It's really kind of consolidating here, not breaking down yet. So I guess that's good. We're holding right along the 9 EMA. We're basically oscillating between to and through the VWAP. Stock does have earnings in 2 weeks. So if you're going to trade this again, make sure you have that factored in. News here today. With sales momentum accelerating, Syngin is on track to sell more in Q1 than all of 2025. They announced continued commercial momentum for the autonomous vehicle solutions driven by expanding customer developments, increasing utilization across existing sales, and accelerating sales activity entering the year. Stock is holding higher here by 23.75%. Quick peek at the short interest. It is high on this one on both counts. 24.48% of the float is shorted with 6.54 days to cover. So indeed, we do have some short squeeze potential. Now, on average, stock trades 2.67 million. Today, it's traded 26.32 million, and the float is 7.24 million. 13, you got any thoughts here on CYN?
It sounds and seems very similar to Aurora Innovation, the autonomous semi-truck software company that already has routes going from Dallas to Houston and Houston to El Paso, with expansions planned for Phoenix. I don't think this company's as far along as they are, but it seems like they're pretty much in the same wheelhouse there with their autonomous vehicle solution software. Company does have some short interest here, where at least it was showing up for me. Yeah, 24, almost 25% of the float shorted with over 6 days to cover. So we could see some more squeezing action happen here. They do have earnings in 14 days, which is going to be, if you're interested in this company, it's going to be something you want to pay attention to, because we need to see that they are generating revenue. You need to see that they are getting cash on their balance sheet, because that is one of the things that they do not have a whole lot of.
Okay.
They aren't showing a whole lot of revenue right now on their income statements, but I'm hoping that that changes. I don't have a position in this, but I'm hoping that changes, because it would be good to see a competitor with Aurora Innovation. But they do lose several million dollars a quarter, and based on their current balance sheet holdings, they do have about a little less than $5 million in cash, but they have about $30 million in short-term investments that likely can be converted into cash. So they do have some capital available, but it's if you take everything into consideration, it doesn't look like it's going to be more than a few quarters at this current cash burn rate. So we need to see their revenue show up. Otherwise, they're going to have to raise capital in the future.
Okay, good stuff there. CYN. Next on the list here is ORCX, but this is the 2X long ETF for Oracle. We've covered Oracle quite a bit here, so there's really nothing left to cover on this one. If you want to trade Oracle with 2X leverage, this is one of the ways to do it. The next here is going to be TMDE, and this is TMD Energy. We've talked about this one a few times. This has been moving back and forth since the conflict in the Middle East kicked up here. What's interesting here is that we're about at 50% of the initial impulse move that we got on that Monday. So we've retraced about half of the stick here. It does look like we've kind of held this $2 area. I want to say 2 to 215 just by kind of eyeballing the chart. But very clearly here, in fact, I can probably draw a trend line, 13. We are very clearly in a downtrend. And for any more substantial upside, this is going to need to break. And we'll see if we're able to do that here today. Quick peek at the short interest on this one, 4.5% with 1 day to cover. And you know what? I didn't even check to see if we had any fresh news here. I just assumed so nothing fresh here. This is still just moving on some of the catalysts that we're all aware of. 13, any thoughts on this chart here, TMDE?
I don't know if we're seeing a bounce here yet. We did hold $2 yesterday, and this isn't when I covered. Even though we've looked at this before, this didn't have a very good quarter or half year. I think this only reports 2 times a year. It didn't have a great last earnings report, which posted a loss. But it's in the oil and gas space. We could see more volatility with this. We certainly saw that beginning of this month. we've come down from those highs around 450 to 5, but we have golden cross recently on the 6th. So I don't think that we're going to completely come back down to the sideways consolidation. I think there's going to be some support down around the 150s if we lose 2. But right now, it also looks like 2 is holding up as support. Looking at a smaller time frame, real quick here, see if I can find anything. Yeah, we're mostly just sideways in the pre-market here with one, spike that took us up to 279. It looks like we're struggling to get back above the VWAP. So if that continues, I think we end up losing these larger EMAs, the 65 and the 200.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. ACXP, this is Acurx Pharmaceuticals, earnings in 2 days here. Kathy, is this one that's on your list? I know you've been over a lot of these that have been moving. I think Billy mentioned this. A different one that was as close. Anyway, Acurx Pharmaceuticals, looks like we traded up towards 4 before kind of coming back in. We are struggling to recapture the VWAP, so we would definitely want to see that. I have no fresh news here. We just are working off the clinical trial news or the clinical trial program news that we got on Monday. That was March 9th, so nothing fresh here 2 days later. Quick peek at the short interest, 2.28% with 1 day to cover. Comes on an average volume just shy of 1 million shares, just shy of 750,000 shares. 337,000 is its 100-day average. Today it's done 4.26 million versus a float of 2.53 million. What do you think here on ACXP? Alpha Charlie X-Ray Papa.
I think we're seeing this movement today on relative volume. If you look at a daily chart,
especially yesterday, 13.
Yeah, exactly. So yesterday and the day before, pretty much this whole week, we just seen a big spike in volume, and it's carried over into today. So it's been going on for the past 2 days. If this continues, maybe we, today maybe we see a test of the 200-day SMA up at 510. But looking at the history of this chart, we do tend to get a day or two of this high volume price action, and then by the third day, it really peters out. So I think be careful with this one. It's still got a lot of resistance above where it's at right now, and we are very extended here on the daily RSI. So if there is some upside, I think it's not going to be too much more. I still would lean on that 200-day SMA, providing the resistance if we continue to climb. We have had that provide resistance in the past on the way down here. As a matter of fact, the more you look at this chart and to the left, you can see that the 200-day SMA has been the bane of the upside's existence. So definitely think that 200-day SMA is going to be one area to watch at 510.
Okay. Do you have any others on your list that you covered?
No, but I did see that Jay was asking about a company that we had talked about previously, and he was wondering about this big move in their EPS, their adjusted EPS from last quarter. The ticker is AMSC. As I recall, I think that was due to a tax provision. I'd have to go back and double check that, but I think that's what I recall reading about that, because it was a pretty big adjusted EPS beat, but I think it was a one-time thing for that. So I'll go back and double check that with you. I also brought some interesting a list of interesting names for you, Jay, because we were talking about some of these electrical companies and the demand for electrical equipment. And one of the biggest pieces that has a huge backlog, and it doesn't seem like that's going to change anytime soon unless some other smaller company with a good supply chain comes up and fills that backlog, is going to be large transformers. We're talking 2 to 3 years backlog for most companies. And one company I've talked a lot about is involved in those large transformers. That's GEB. So it's a very small pool of companies that are involved in manufacturing these, but I've been able to find a few small names that might work, but right now it's the big ones that are that have all the backlog. So I'll get you those in just a little bit here.
Okay, let me finish off the movers list here. Sure. I have a couple more that I want to cover here, but we may skip some of these other ones until we actually start trading. TSSI, I want to shout this out because this is something Ryan Milligan from our chat has mentioned a whole bunch. He's been on this for a long time. TSS shares have been trading or are trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in Q3 for financial results. It's actually a pretty good formation here in the pre-market. That pop off the news, a move back down, higher, low, and then another test of the area higher here. So this is on the back of earnings. Looks good here. Taking a look at the daily chart, you can see maybe we are kind of curling up. We took out that recent high. We're kind of in this gap. This gap, by the way, fills at about 15. We're at 13.5 here. Quick peek at the short interest on this name. 18.9% of the float shorted with 5.88 days to cover. So pretty elevated there, and some squeezy potential, if you will. 1.11 million shares is your 100-day average. It's done 3.5 million here today. The float on this one is 24.38. 13, I know this one wasn't on your list, but if you see anything on the chart, do you have any thoughts on TSSI?
Yeah, that 200-day SMA really stands out because that's right in the area where we gap fill.
What's the value of it?
It's 1533.
Perfect.
And that's pretty close to where we have the gap fill from November 13th to 14th. To the 13th to 14th. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up gap filling today. It looks like we're heading that direction, and we're not too far away. Less than maybe less than $2 away from filling that gap. So that would be my target.
Okay.
Otherwise, let's see if we do start to weaken into the open here, after we open, I would think that the 1225 area could provide support. We moved past that. That's the January 16th high, that area. So I would think that provides support around 12.
Okay. Next one on the list comes from Brian. Brian, who let the dogs out. NBIS. This is popping here. Nebius Group shares are trading higher after the company announced a partnership with NVIDIA to deploy hyperscale cloud for AI needs. The partnership includes a $2 billion investment for NVIDIA. So cue up the circular funding discussions that we've been having. They're going to keep rearing their head. However, in the immediate term, NBIS popping 10% here today. Looks like it ran 107. Looks to kind of be the resistance here. Here's a quick peek at the daily chart. We also have another resistance level higher here. I want to call it 110 just because of my CDO. So 110 here going to be your next upside resistance area. We take a look at the short interest. 20.5% of the float is shorted with 3.68 days to cover. And this trade on average trades 12.5 million shares, done 3.6 here today. Remember, floats plus 200 million at 213 million here. So some high float on this as well. 13, any thoughts? NBIS.
Yeah, something about November with these names, because same time last year, we had a big move down in this stock, and we didn't, we haven't been able to really recapture that level since. And your 110 area, that's kind of the level that we've been trying to see the price recapture. We only really got one move above it, but couldn't hold it, and that was back in January. But interestingly, around the same time that the last stock we were looking at had a pop. But I think you're right. That 110 area, that's going to be a breakout resistance area that if we have that momentum continue, could take us up to 120. No promises on where we end up going, but I do like that 110 area as a breakout spot.
Okay. All right, we'll see what we get here today. That's NBIS. Also, by the way, looking at this, we do have a fair value gap here. So if anyone is interested in that, let me draw it here on the chart, looking like right in here. So we did kind of test the top end of this range. It also coincided with VWAP. I would say that if we get in here, probably 103 or higher, that might actually represent a decent opportunity. I would not stop out on the low of the fair value gap. I'd have a little bit tighter one, but that's going to be a personal choice for you. Okay, the other thing here, and sorry, let me add this here. Jay saying, be careful. The original pops in the NVIDIA news usually fade and then gets bought. Don't chase. It happened with Light, Coherent, and Nokia. Again, really good stuff here, Jay. This is the type of stuff that I think can really help all levels of trader that join us here today. So much appreciate that. All right, the next one here comes from Alpha Trade. Alpha Trade mentioning that KMX is popping here today. KMX up nearly 6%. CarMax shares are trading higher following a report suggesting that activist investor Starboard Value has taken a stake in the company and nominated 2 director candidates for board seats. So CarMax here popping, again, holding higher by about 6%. Here's what your daily chart looks like. Let's see if we can get, 49.50 looks to be the next significant resistance area there. Quick peek at the short interest on this name, 12.19% of the float is shorted with 4.26 days to cover. So there's some elevated short interest in there, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. 13, you have any thoughts on the chart here? And do you have enough for me to step away and be right back?
I can keep talking, but let's see what we got
Excellent.
here. And one thing that's interesting about this is that we've seen lowered car sales and demand. So I think that's maybe starboard value potentially seeing that and going might have an opportunity here when sales pick back up. I'm just speculating, but certainly something that could be considered here. We are climbing over the 50-day SMA and the 20-day SMA, which is very nice, but there is resistance up at the $48 level, which we aren't quite at yet, and support appears to be, if we open above the 50, that's going to be that 50-day SMA. Let me look at the smaller time frame here for KMX, see what else I can find. Right now, it looks like we're coming off the highs from this morning. 45.50 was the pre-market high that we had here, and we appear to be leaking into the open. So maybe another one where we just kind of wait and see what the next first 15 minutes provides us. We did lose the VWAP here just about, 20 minutes ago. So not able to recapture that right now. I think that's a signal that we're going to likely head lower before we head higher. And if that's the case, we do have the 65 EMA at 43.86. I don't know for a fact that we'll get all the way down there before we start finding support. It might come earlier around 44.20, but if not there, then certainly the 65 EMA. It just looks like right now we are searching around for some kind of support since we lost the VWAP. All right, so he's not back yet.
Nope, I am. I was putting my headphones in. It was perfect timing. I almost can't believe how good the timing was, 13. So we're all good. Where are we going next here? We've got 4 minutes till we open. Do we want a big chart for ticker time? What are we doing?
Well, Lion was mentioning you, Amy.
Okay.
That one, he's saying, looks like it's about to break out.
Let me go to that daily chart. We can take a look at it together. I've got to spell it right in order for us to do that, but I'm sure I can handle it.
Well, it looks like a $12 breakout is what's about to happen. Just need to see that volume take us up and through it. But that's the spot. I'm sure he's looking at the same spot too. What is it, $12 line? Let me know.
I mean, it looks like that to me. This one's fairly obvious.
And Big B's, that's interesting because he's talking about KMX. The guy, the investor, did assign nominate two directors to the board seat. So interesting. Okay, so yeah, Lion's looking at $12 for the KMX. I'm sorry, the UAME breakout, which is kind of painful to say because I was looking at this thing when it was under $1.
Okay, well, that's good. 13. All right, what else do we want to look at here? What else you guys got?
Oh, let me see if let me pull up some of those energy names because I said I'd post that. Some of these, you're gonna recognize right away. These are names that we've already seen, and some are just so popular we already know what they are. But pull that up, and yeah, I saw that VELO is also higher. I think that's on some news about the CEO taking a stake in the company. Let me see if I got all that. Okay,
this is up 6.5%. Yep, CEO Arun, I almost want to call him Jedi, but it's Jeldy, acquires a $5 million promissory note, converts to equity at $16.38 per share. Director Ken Tyneman converts a $10 million note at $10.50 a share. There's your list. Thank you.
Yeah. So as you can see, some of these names really recognizable. Some are utility companies. I don't have all the utility companies that I think should be on there, but a lot of these other companies are going to be some of the major players in building out new electrical infrastructure. Some of these companies manufacture the transmission lines. the transformers, the components for substations. So this is the list that I've been able to come up with for now, and I'm going to narrow it down to some real interesting names that could provide a good trade for us. But so far, this is what I've got. Some of these names really, really great companies, but they've run so much already. I think a lot of those you'd want to wait for opportunity when they're lower, and I don't know when that's going to be.
Okay. We are less than a minute till we open here. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace and get us all set here for today. I love the smiles out there. It sounds like a lot of folks were banking on Oracle going higher here. Oracle actually looks like it might trade up right out of the gate. NBIS flirting with the VWAP. SPY has recaptured its VWAP. S&P futures right at VWAP. So we'll see how we open here. S&P futures in the green, and we're open.
All right.
And we are open.
Okay, so let's see. Off the bat here, CarMax trying to push up. It's recaptured, or tried to recapture its VWAP. We'll see if it's actually turning around here or not. Also, we need to see Velo 3D turn around here. That was some pretty good news, but it's beneath its VWAP right now. CYN is lower. Domo is lower.
And before anyone asks, no, I don't have Domo Arigato on the soundboard. So
however,
with today, we're not going to be able to do that. CYN dropping here. We'll see if 183 supports it. That's going to be the 65 EMA on the 5. Oracle here, I'll check out of the gate. Looks like that's trying for higher. Indeed, above the pre-market highs.
It's one of my older names that I love talking about so much, but AMPX popping right out of the gate, going from 18 to 1850, coming up to the resistance from yesterday.
Tesla popping out of the gate. Someone here said there was more Ondas news here today. Earnings in 2 weeks, by the way, on that. I'm excited for that. Ondas acquires Bird Aerosystems to expand the airborne missile protection and ISR capabilities. I'll have to dig into the PR a little bit more. Simply scanning it right now, I don't see any. Yeah.
CarMax turning around.
Okay, sorry, 13. So I don't see any details on this deal here, but Ondas will provide outlook information regarding this transaction in the earnings conference call scheduled for Wednesday, March 25th. That is where we will see some more of this. The financial terms not disclosed here. So, okay, there we go. PayPal up out of the gate. Tesla up out of the gate. Palantir up out of the gate. Bitcoin up to 71K.
Let's be careful. 45.50, the high of KMX this morning. We almost went right back up to there. Now we're selling into that a little bit. Very, very spready here as well. We have a 60-cent spread at least here in KMX. So be careful with this one.
NBIS, it looks like that is trading back down a little bit. We're actually flirting with the VWAP as we speak.
Domo hit the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
I'm seeing a whole bunch of Tesla calls. Looks like they're sweeping a ton. This is a big bullish candle here on Tesla, moving 9 points right out of the open. It is being supported by lots of call buying activity on the back of it.
I think I saw a report about how their sales in China went higher, or they were higher. Yeah, here we go. I think this is what I'm referring to here. China Auto Body Cam reports Tesla exported 20,000 China-made EVs in February as broader EV market sales fell 14.2% year on year. So they're beating the industry average, I guess.
And sorry to interrupt here, NBIS boom. So it dropped a little bit beneath the VWAP. It actually entered the fair value gap area that we had outlined. Despite touching it earlier a little bit, it bounced again from this area. Did not get low enough for me, so I don't feel as if I missed it. But nonetheless, 2-point move here on that. Rustam, glad to see you again here. I've been waiting for you to show back up because I wanted to formally shout you out for Mob X the other day when you were talking about it in the morning, and then it ended up trading up an entire $1 from when you were talking about it. But I hope you made some good money on that, my man. Even though it was a penny stock and I have my own PTSD issues with penny stocks, I'm happy that you were all over that. Hopefully you made some more. It looks like I'll go ahead and give you some grace here today. It looks like ASNS, the new penny play for Rustam here. Good luck with that one. Now, 13. What am I going to here? I'm sorry.
I moved on.
Okay. Well, I am sorry, but I had to shout out some of our chatters here. I apologize. Fastly getting mentioned, not the first time here. Someone else mentioned Fastly. I'm sorry I didn't get to it. Fastly straight up out of the gate here. That looking pretty good as well. Made 1.5K, Rustam. That earns you a register ring, boss. That earns you a register ring. Good stuff.
Jay, I mean, this is a nice move here with AMSC out of the gate here, but I still think this one's going to need more time. Nice to see this movement here. This is a grid play as well. Okay, CYN trying to turn positive here. Looks like it's trying to get back above 2. You're going to see some bigger volume here if it's going to get through all these sellers. How about some AVAV levels? How about that? Let's get. Oh yeah, and then thinking about it, Redwire. I saw that news this morning. One of the things they do is they have a business already where they send some of these different biotech substances up into space for testing. So we've already had drugs in space. This company already does that. But yes, drugs in space, space cadets.
Drugs in space and space. That's the new thing here. Okay. Okay.
All right, so AVAV levels, because this thing, losing contracts. So one level, I mentioned this yesterday, Ryan, you probably remember it. One level that I'm keeping an eye on is going to be the 185 area. There's a particular high back from 2024. It's the March high of 2024. That was 184.61. Since I put that level out there, it's been a pretty good support and resistance area since then. And if you want to do it yourself, you can even just do 185 and just see how well the price has interacted with that particular area. So I think that if we do end up going down there, that could be an early area of support. I don't think it's going to be the bottoming area. It might be, but I'm not sure that it is. But I think that it's going to be your next big area of support. Now, if we do end up losing that, I would probably turn my attention towards 160.
Okay.
Jay is saying that Fastly has been great.
Indeed, it has. That thing came from single digits when it first reported earnings the day that we traded it. Short term, it's kept going, frankly.
Yeah.
That absolutely has been great. Here's NEO. So we talked about this yesterday. It's traded up on the back of its earnings. Looks like it's got some more continuation here today on NEO.
KMX having a hard time with their VWAP. Two separate candles now. We've got, now we just went right down to the 65 EMA. Two separate candles we've got trying to push up towards that 45.50 high. Both rejected. So now we're headed lower. This is going to be an area of support. If we lose this, the next one that I think we come down to could be about 43.25 if we lose that 65 EMA.
I am seeing some Oracle puts cross the wire here for unusual options. That's on the back of that earnings. Now, this thing has been straight up out of the gate. So, yep, there we go. Mark made 2K on Fastly. That's fantastic. Due for a register ring indeed. Oracle popping. That actually might be popping the market here. S&P at highs, NASDAQ at highs. S&P kind of interesting here. Or I should say the SPY, which is what I'm looking at here. Here's the SPY. Really think that this is going to need to get above this 679 area. It's about another 90 cents from where we're at. We'll see if it's got the strength to do that. Futures for the S&P looking pretty good. We are pushing away from the VWAP, so that's all right. That is all right.
Kathy, I get the sense, and I'm probably going to get some pushback with this. I get the sense that Fastly's been on a run so much that we're getting pretty extended here. I would think, and there could still be some more upside, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot more in the short term. I think 24 to 26 is going to be the range of resistance you're going to find. My thought is we're going to see some cooling here in FAST before we're able to get through that range. So I'm not saying that we're not going to go higher, but I think just with the movement we've had in the short term, we're going to see a pullback, maybe back to the $20 area, consolidate there, and then come back up towards through the 24 to 26 area. That would be my expectation based on the extended short-term move that we've had. We're recapturing some pretty big levels in the span of 40 days, and it's we spent even more time being down here than that. So I think this is a very extended move in a short period of time. I would think that we cool off a little bit before we make that move through the 24 to 26 area.
Joe mentioning HIMS here. HIMS looks like it popped right to 25. Now, this is actually a resistance area from yesterday, too. I know we went to 26 yesterday, but sure looks like it found some resistance up there at 25. We just popped there again, couldn't break through it. So HIMS popping here. We'll see how we go with HIMS. Good morning, Wendy's attendees.
Alpha, you're not wrong, but I'm looking at the history of this, and it's nothing but insider selling. You're right that it has been a good amount, especially from Devin Richard Daniels, the director. He sold a lot because I don't know that they really expected this to be as this high so soon. But you look through the history of this company, it's either if they're not getting a grant, they're selling it. That's all this company, the insiders do, is just sell the stock. So, good morning, Wendy's attendees.
Oracle running into some resistance at that 169 area. ATPC, this is one that we were looking at earlier. This at the after hours high. We'll see if this is able to take out the intraday high at 5.
Carmack's still holding at 65 EMA, as is Domo, but it's their 200 EMA. Both of these are looking a little weak, but if they continue to hold these areas, they may end up turning around. So something to keep an eye on.
Okay.
And I was going to look at something else. Bitcoin. Oh, yeah. And then
So really quick, Bitcoin at 71,000. I was talking about the SPY pushing higher there. Jay said, Ryan, just watch oil because they've been really inversely correlated. Oil pretty much right at its pivot, holding higher 1.83%. SPY's still trying for that 679 area. It's running into some resistance here at 678.5. See if we have the strength to get up there.
Yesterday, I think we were talking about HIMS earlier this week, and we were talking about where resistance is. We did get that resistance at that $25 and 50-day SMA area. We have not been able to capture that yet. We are trading over it again today, as we did yesterday, but we did not capture it yesterday. We actually came in and went lower than the open. So still an area of resistance, that 50-day SMA and the $25 area. Need to see multiple closes above that in order for me to have confidence that we're going higher.
NVTS, Wendy's Tendies, you're long NVTS. This popping out of the gate here.
NVTS. Navitas.
Feliz
Navitas.
Yep.
So $10. That's it's quite an area there. We have traded above it, maybe closed above it once or twice. But if the price is not able to hold above $10 since, here we go with November again. We had institutional selling in the end of October, and that likely led to most of these names being lower here. But since we've lost $10, there has not been a really strong effort to hold above it. We traded above it, like I said. We closed above it once or twice, but just not able to hold that level. So we are headed back up there. $10 is going to be the resistance area.
NVIDIA here, this up, and it looks like up about 1% here. It looks like several folks are looking at this. We are trying to take out yesterday's intraday high. I think eventually 200 is going to come into play here on NVIDIA. IREN getting mentioned by CW Parker. By the way, good morning, CW. Good to see you again. Here's IREN. This is straight up out of the gate here today.
I think 78.50 for Uber is going to be your near-term resistance. That's right in the area where that 50 and 500-day SMA is. Above that, 82 is resistance. You might get some resistance from 80, but I have a line marked off at 82. Idiot up. And what was the news with Uber? Let's see here. I mean, that's a partnership with Zoox. Why does that sound familiar?
Because we've seen this before. There's a robo-taxi service in Las Vegas this summer. You know, we should ask Zoltan about that. Maybe get some boots on the ground intel on it.
Good idea. I thought I've seen, like, I thought it was publicly traded, Zoox. I must be thinking of something else that starts with, that has zoo in it. You know, because it's
not Zoom, right? Not ticker ZM.
It might have been Zooz, ZOOZ.
Okay, that feels like a mover ticker that we've traded before.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those Bitcoin treasury names now.
Ah, yes.
So I think that's where I was confused. And here's the thing, and this is the connection that got me all screwed up. The company is a provider of flywheel-based power boosting solutions, enabling widespread deployment of ultra-fast charging infrastructure for electrical vehicles. That's why I thought that. So just a single letter got me all messed up.
That happens.
It does happen.
That happens.
All right. Back to reality. BTB is saying Zoox is part of Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, but that's XOOX, right? Did he spell that right, or was that a typo?
I don't
Chris?
know. I don't know. Yeah, and Billy, you're right. Tesla's China sales being better than the reported average. Yeah, that's why that's going up. Did I just watch Zoolander? You know, I'm not a big fan of Ben Stiller. I have not watched Zoolander.
Ever?
Oh,
man. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ben Stiller either, but I mean, Tropic Thunder and Zoolander are absolute musts.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder was great, not because he was in it. I think I think Robert Downey Jr. was the real star of that show.
Yeah, that one, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Zoolander, I look, man, I mean, Zoolander's great.
I'll watch it for other people in there. I know there's some other funny people in there. Watch. Oh wow, KMX really getting it done here.
So is FIGR. This ran yesterday. Looks like it's got some extension.
KMX getting it done to it. Like this thing came right down to its 200 area here, and this hasn't halted. But like I said, very spready. All right. Well, we get you, Bigabees. We get you.
Oracle through 171 now. Oracle continuing to rip here. This up 15%.
JJ, I think he's a better director than he is an actor. His characters are all the same. I don't think he's funny. AMPX, where's the resistance now? Let me see here. Because yeah, we've been quite extended here, and we're coming up to some of the IPO highs from 2022.
AIFF, this being mentioned here in the chat, this above yesterday's intraday high.
It could be anywhere from here to 25. I would say for AMPX. I mean, this thing is just on a big run. I think that it's getting extended. We're going to need to see this cool off at some point. I get this all screwed up.
NBIS continuing, it looks like. Look at that, right off the top of that gap.
I get the sense with AMPX that we're pretty soon we're gonna back test 15. So that would be my expectation here. And the reason I believe that is because I have this trend line that I've drawn from the recent highs, the October 2025 high and the February high. And that gave us a trend line that we just broke out of, last week. And I think that at some point we're going to back test that trend line. And if we do, it's going to take us down to about 1450 to 15. That would be my expectation.
Chipotle is getting beat up. We need the noob to go back there and grab dinner and lunch and dinner there. Boost those same store sales.
The Blue Steel. Hey, and we all have our opinions. Some people think Ben Stiller's funny. I think he's a better director than he is an actor. Domo's 50-day SMA on the daily.
Serve going higher here. Oops. Let's type that. served moving on earnings, by the way. Sorry, I left that out when we first talked about it.
Yeah, so Doma, we fell back beneath the 50-day SMA is what you're saying. I got you. Looks like falling further takes us potentially to 5. I don't know where the support is really. I mean, we're kind of going through an area right now, but 5 looks like it could be the next one. Man, KMX just continues to give it all back. Well, thanks for playing. CYM.
Look at that. That not only did it give it back, it went red. And how's NVIDIA holding up here?
Hey, A1, I'm not going to disagree. I think Cat Williams is great. He's funny. I mean, he does great stand-up. I don't know that I'm necessarily a big fan of him in movies, but his stand-ups are awesome.
TSSI, this above the pre-market high. Volume looking really good on this one too, TSSI. Really good buying volume right out of the gate here. Where's Ryan when we need him?
This is the one that we talked about potentially filling the gap. Looking for that 200-day SMA or 15. Either one, I'm sure people will be happy with. Now Wendy's Tendies. That's let's see. That's I think it was Rip Torn was his name, right?
Yeah.
That was a good movie.
I mean, he's great in Men in Black. Rip Torn's funnier than all of these guys you're mentioning.
Down the wrench, you can down the ball. I love that gruff voice he's got. All right.
I told you folks that we were going to have fun today.
Yeah.
Told ya. ASNS, that seems to be our penny stock of the day. That's up near the highs. 55 looks to be the breakout spot there. Bloom Energy, seeing some call action here on Bloom. Bloom moved up out of the gate here.
Oh, yeah. So ASNS hitting that 55-cent area again. Not blowing through it, though. So maybe we have a double top here. Would love to see this just completely jettison past 55 cents, though. That'd be cool.
Thinking about it, what was the thesis for the TSSI beating earnings? Because that was a good call. That thing popping higher here. Market Sniper CVGI, that is on my list here. Moving since the open, indeed. This is straight up commercial vehicle group. So this didn't really have a whole lot of pre-market action, but good volume here. What was the news on this? Earnings, right? Earnings after the bell yesterday. That's why it's moving up.
A couple we looked at yesterday, Beat. That's getting some decent movement here. It's up at the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. And then another one from yesterday, ATPC. This ran up to 474, losing VWAP right now, but had some pretty good movement back up to the after hours highs. Let's see. Thesis was that Dell is a big customer and their earnings were good. When it comes to Dell,
good call, then.
When it comes to Dell, I think they've got a lot more upside when it comes to the future of 6G. They are a big partner in NVIDIA's 6G initiative, development initiative. There's a number of other companies that are involved with that. Let me see if I can pull those up for you. But I think Dell is going to be great long term, especially.
All right. Andre asking, Ryan, can I get your opinion on Starwood and Doc? I'm not familiar with Doc, so I don't really have an opinion on it. I can take a look at it. Why I like Starwood is because it is just an excellent REIT run by Barry Sternlicht, who's one of the smartest guys in the business. It pays a 10% dividend. So it just pays me to hold it here. Your Doc looks like it doesn't, or it does, 7.5% dividend. So just strictly on the actual yield itself, I like Starwood more. The other thing is during COVID, during that whole thing, they paid all their bills. The Class A properties paid all of their bills. Not really worried about them shutting it down. I would imagine that they're going to continue to crush it no matter what they do. So Starwood, my biggest position, long-term hold. dividend is excellent. I like it. Just kind of, I don't know what the bull thesis is for Doc, but just looking at the dividend, not comparable to Starwood's.
There's the list of names that are part of the NVIDIA ecosystem for 6G development. Those include Dell, Cisco, Nokia, T-Mobile, Booz Allen Hamilton, among others. So there you go. Enjoy that. Those should do well on their own, but with this, I think they'll do even better.
So IREN dipped close to the VWAP, did not quite print it, nor did it print that gap. That's kind of what I was looking for, but a really good bounce right back up to highs here. No trade for me as it didn't trigger the entry, but some fairly decent action here. On IREN,
AMPX, that was trading underneath VWAP a moment ago. It just popped back up, looking to take out that 1880 high it just put in about 5 minutes ago. Pause It Live Trader is saying he forgot the guest name the other day, just traded 0 GTE. I think that was NYC 2000 you're talking about, right?
Are you talking about the guest on the happy hour show? It wasn't a guest on this morning show, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I've been watching it too. Did you trade it yesterday? Because that's where the big one was. I traded it 3 times, got stopped 3 times, and on the 4th time it ran bigly. Today we actually had a little bit of a push out of the gate, but I'm also getting stop out signals on it. I decided today that what I would do is a change from yesterday is I would wait out the open a little bit longer, and so I don't necessarily have one here. I think if it holds here 676 and looks like it's going to turn around and gets back above that 80 MA, then we may try one. But yeah, didn't do any of them here today. It was yesterday that was the big move. That strategy is really, really awesome.
I was just looking at AIFF and was
IREN new highs.
I was looking to see if this was going to recapture its VWAP, but nope. Not enough volume. It's headed lower now.
Nasty move too, because this went right to the 220 resistance, popped above it by a penny, and just came right back in.
Looks like CarMax is getting a little bit of a rebound here. I get the sense that if we get up to VWAP here, it's probably going to initially reject this area. I don't know that we're going to not get back above it later on today, but I get the bounce here is probably going to be rejected at these prices near VWAP.
Oh, I thought I clicked on KMX. What did I just do there? What did I just do there? Okay. Here's CarMax. You're talking about RCAT. Looks like Ondas is actually in the green too. We talked about, maybe what some of these other drone names would do on the back of those AV earnings. 13 so far. It looks like you're correct. Now, AV did bounce a little bit here, but it looks like those negative earnings haven't really adversely affected any stock other than AV. That was a pretty good call. IREN now busting and going through. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm not upset because I followed the system. And the system never actually gave me an entry trigger. So I'm okay with it. But man, oh man, thought process was correct here. Nice little pullback towards VWAP. You got almost a 2-point move now. 1.5 points.
You got your move in ASNS, that penny stock you were mentioning. We blasted
that was
through
Rustam banking again.
We blasted through that 55 cent area, took it up to 58.5. We pulled off of that, but this area here that the price is trading at right now, we need to see this hold up if we're going to go higher. So we might get that here.
Rustam says it must break 75. Tell me why it must break it. I understand wanting it to break it. Tell me why it must break it.
Look at that. We are getting some support in that 55 cent area. So that resistance area that we were just looking at before we had this move over it, that has now turned into support.
Indeed.
And ONDS, it's crazy. Just lots of sideways action, big movements, but ultimately it just goes right back to that range of about 10.15 to 10.25.
10.25. 25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10.25. 10 A SPY trying to hold in. S&P futures flirting with the VWAP, trying to go green and move above it.
Yeah, I'm just looking around for something. Oh, here
Me
we
too.
go. This one from, I think, yesterday, TECK, Tech Resources.
This is the Lion loves this. He tries to talk about this one every day.
Oh, okay. Looks like they are paying a dividend today. No, the X date, I'm sorry, is the 13th.
Yeah, it's 2 days from now.
Yeah. AMPX found some support, managed to recapture VWAP. 1886 is now the new high. I still maintain what I said, though. This is getting pretty extended. I would like to see this cool off and then later on blast through that resistance area.
SPY is trying to trade back up. It's actually found resistance at its daily pivot level here. So we'll see if we can break above that.
Just looking through some of this, see if I can find anything else that's interesting. But it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of big movers. And Bitcoin is really coming off the 71,000 high. We're flirting with 70K. As a matter of fact, we did just briefly dip beneath that, and then we captured it. I think we're going to probably see this range for a while. I mean, we're going to go, I think, between, like 60, 65 and 72, 71, 72 for a while. It just seems like that's going to be the back and forth until we get closer to the next halving event, which doesn't occur until for another couple of years.
Jay, you're exactly right on oil, by the way. SPY did finally through that. So it's actually through its pivot. SPY on a nice little spike here. No trade for me on this. This is pumping here. SPY is pumping. So grats if you caught that one. Moved a little bit too fast for me, but boy, oh boy, that would have been good right there. Big time move for SPY. And this coincides with oil falling, just like Jay mentioned earlier.
680, big level for the SPY.
And it's coming up to it right now.
Oh, we've already begun to tickle it, sir. I think we were just 2 cents shy of. Oh, nope, we just printed over it just now, and not able to close. We still have another 3.5 minutes left in this candle, but already seeing that's a resistance area. Tom Lee said crypto's mini winter about to be over.
That'll probably ruffle some feathers. Tom Lee says a lot of things. Okay, SPY looks like it's pulling back just a tad on this nice little breakout.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could consolidate for a little while. I mean, if he's saying that the mini winter's over, I guess that would, to me, that would mean more that we're not going to be going down so much as we're just going to be going sideways. I don't think we're going to be starting to turn around and recapture like 100,000 or anything soon. I don't think that's happening.
IREN, huge green move. That was a pretty good bounce there. Again, never triggered the entry, but a pretty good bounce nonetheless on IREN.
Now, okay, so if Forever 21, if that happens, then we're going to see changes in the way crypto works. But there's, we've certainly had crypto, Bitcoin go sideways for a period of time. I mean, let's look at the history of it. And every time that we've had a massive rally, you could start with November 2013 when you had its first one, or you could look after December 17th, the second one. I mean, this thing goes on. It goes on a sideways price action, trade for a good period of time, at least a year or two, before we start rallying into the next halving. And sometimes we have the halving, and then the rally doesn't even occur until after that. So I'm just going based on what the history of the asset has done. Now, if we have the Clarity Act passed soon, and that starts changing things, and yeah, we might see it come up some more, but I still think that we're going to be going sideways for a time. as we have every time that we've come off of a rally, every time.
Glenn, I don't think there's any way for you to actually post a chart. I don't know that it's necessarily allowed or disallowed. I don't know how you post a chart in YouTube chat.
You would have to like post a link, I think, or something like that to TradingView chart or something. Now, okay, so BM&R is not Bitcoin, it's Ethereum.
Yeah.
And I think Ethereum is going to eventually replace Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I think, has a limit as to how long it's going to be. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, I guess relevant, because I think you're going to start to see a move away from it once the next halving occurs, because I think at that stage the rewards are not going to outweigh the costs of having to mine this. Ethereum isn't one that you have to mine the same way. Bitcoin is a proof of work, and Ethereum is a proof of stake. Much less, energy intensive.
Jamie Dimon, we're well aware of your stance here on crypto. If you end up being wrong, you're going to get called on it, and I'm curious to see how you're going to respond to that. Wonder if you've thought about that at all. I hope for your sake it doesn't break to new highs.
I think the technology is great. The valuations of these crypto assets is something I'm scratching my head about from time to time. Although I do see the case for Ethereum much more than I see it for Bitcoin at this stage. I think Bitcoin, the next rally that we have might be one of the last big ones that we have. It's just my opinion.
So that move down in oil did find some buyers here. CL, the oil future here, trying to recapture 85, which is about where its pivot is.
Hey, you mentioned that double top in Domo, and it looks like we kind of got ourselves a Batman head and shoulders here. So down we go. Wouldn't be surprised if we ended up losing $5 pretty soon.
This thing is nothing but red candles, my man.
Yeah.
Not great.
BTC doubter. It's just because, it's just going to be unprofitable to mine at some point. So that's the big reason I have for doubting Bitcoin over Ethereum.
He just thinks all crypto is a scam. He has a different view than you. He's just trying to tie it together.
No, that's fine. It's not a bad opinion to have.
It's what makes the market. Intel. Ooh, was anyone on Intel today? This a move out of the gate, pull back to VWAP, and then a rip to new highs here. Intel might challenge 50.
Had some news recently, I believe. Let me see here. Intel hits full capacity as AI infrastructure boom triggers global chip shortage. I didn't know we were back on chip shortages again. Like, remember how we were with back in, I think it was 2022. It was so bad that it was causing a lot of vehicles to have to remain unfinished because they were missing semiconductors for their trucks, like Ford. I don't know that. I mean, I don't think that we're at that kind of chip shortage right now, but probably more on the data center side that they're referring to.
Big B says, I'm in Intel, June expiry on those options. Big B is, tell you what, you have been crushing it recently. Yep. Crushing it. See if the SPY holds some of its footing here.
Fine job on CoreWeave there, Buffalo, and Wendy's. 17%, nice.
$677, I think, is going to be 677.5, maybe the level on SPY. We'll see. MBIS, that looks like its pump here kind of slowing around 111, 112.
Let's see here. See if I can find anything else, because the movers just aren't doing it for
me
today.
They sure aren't.
Let's see what else looks good here. Okay, so looks like Albemarle having a decent bounce. What else? Simmon names up. Duke Energy up.
UMAC, this also up, seeing some call flow in it as well. Beg your pardon. Rigetti puts, Tesla puts now after that big move higher. AEHR is heading up.
How are the space names doing?
It's like IREN took a little bit of a break there.
Rocket Lab just had a. Did they have news or something? Something has just started to cause this to go. Rocket Lab. Lots of insiders selling last week. Yeah, they had news last week. I don't see anything this week here, but I think if anything, it's just moving on the defense trade, the Golden Dome thing. What's Palantir doing today?
Palantir is up, but really couldn't get much above 153. In fact, it wicked above it a number of times.
All right. AEHR heading up. What is, I don't know what you're referring to, Canap. Are you referring to, is that with Bitcoin? Is that what Buffett?
Yeah, I think he's talking about the
Okay.
rat poison comment that they were famous for. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been a combination of both of them.
Okay, so we were looking at AEHR. That's having a good day. And this is the, okay, so now, okay, if remember how when we talked about the news with there being a chip shortage, even though I don't think it's as serious as the chip shortage we had earlier this decade. This company was one that got absolutely hammered on that chip shortage last time. So if this is something that ends up broadening out to other sectors, I think this is one that's going to get going to go back down again. Because if there's no semiconductors to test, there's no revenue to be made.
Amy, looks like this is trying to get through its VWAP here.
Thank you for tying that together, thinking about it. That was fantastic. So the Super Nintendo Entertainment System is coming up with a rat.
I remember that.
A rat birth control. I remember the rat birth control. They have earnings, their conference calls tomorrow after the market close. So Friday morning, we should see if they've got anything. You know what? There's been a lot of insider buying here with this.
With SNES?
Yeah. Yeah. 10% owner has been loading up in February. It's interesting.
IREN might be trying to go higher here. S&P futures back at its VWAP after that recent pop towards the highs. We'll see if it holds it here. Billy mentioning that TSSI pulled back to its VWAP. I actually took that off my screen here. Sorry about that.
Jay Diamond, the only two lips you need are the two lips that help you sip whiskey.
Take that. And the Beanie Babies and tulips comparison to Bitcoin is one of the silliest things that you've said in the show. That without a doubt, not even remotely comparable. I know you're trying to compare the hype cycle, but those things aren't even remotely comparable.
I mean, Beanie Babies were, even when people were going crazy with them, and I'm sitting over in the passenger seat of the car. This is back when I was a young buck, and I'm watching people go crazy over these at drive-thrus. I'm just like, and they have them all on their dashboard. I'm just like, I don't get this.
Yeah. I didn't get it either. And I had a couple of them that ended up being kind of rare. I shouldn't say I guess my family had a couple of them that were pretty rare. I'm not even sure what happened to those. Not even sure what happened to those.
Jay Rice is pointing out that the story trading guys mentioned SNES, and it's been a dog.
And they're on today. Be sure to give them flowers.
I mean, it really hasn't. Okay, so it had like a good middle of February, I guess, it had a good Valentine's weekend because it started running on the 13th. And then on Monday, it broke over the 50-day SMA, held it for, going into March, and now we're trading back beneath it. So I guess I'm wondering, will the earnings be good enough to pull it back over the 20 and 50-day SMAs? That's what would need to happen. Thank you. Thinking about it, that's interesting too. They're a sponsor. Almost all retail names gave it back.
Blue Owl. So more put sweeps here. Now, I don't know if these were bought or not. 20,000 contracts for the May 9 put. Trader spent 1.9 million on that. Now we're 927, so I almost wonder if that was a closing trade, as this came from much higher.
What do we think about now, or what do we think about it now? Now it looks like it's.
I see what you did there. I can go to the bigger chart for this one. We're probably going to look at moving averages for it.
I like 115 support, and I like the 50-day SMA as resistance. We break through that 50-day SMA. We're gap filling up to almost, I think, 130. That's what it looks like here to me with service now. It looks like it is trying to turn around here. Had a nice double bottom last month. It's also caught this area from support. Got a long-term trend line here with this. So that's what I would need to see next. I need to see this recapture the 50-day SMA. It looks like it's trying to do that, as long as that support down around 115 holds up. 115, 110. That's the area of support that I see. Great.
Service now. So I guess the thought here is do we think that the software move down is tempered at all or over? I guess that's the question. Right? Because that's ultimately, are we going to retest this 100 and maybe even break beneath it, or are we going to challenge some of these moving averages that's above? Really, that's going to depend on how the rest of software trades.
And well, this one looks like it's kind of performing that, classic double bottom W-shaped recovery. And, we were coming down to a support area, which we're going to have to turn around pretty soon. I would say probably, by the end of this week, we should have put in the pullback that we're going to need to see before we move up through the recent highs that it made. So let's look at IGV. I mean, how's that trading these days? It's probably also looking like very similar, and it is. Not a double bottom, but certainly having bottomed around the 76.5 area. Also very similar looking recovery, but this one's 50-day SMA is a little bit more elevated, and I would need to see a recapture of 90 before I feel comfortable that we're on the sustained road to recovery. Did see a good recapture of 84. That was another big level that I needed to see recaptured, but got to hold above that. Got to recapture 90. Next big thing that I need to see out of IGV.
Actually, let me go to that IGV chart here real quick. Then I'll go back to the main scanner. Got about 13 minutes left here. Got a lot of chop here today. Here's your IGV. And that, I know you talked about 90, that 50-day at 91 there, also looking pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Larry Ellison, CRMCO, we're reaffirming software still good to go. Yeah, or I think where you're going to start to see is AI as a service. That's starting to happen now. Could still be considered software, but I think it's kind of in its own category, or starting to. HIM's going for 26, NVTS still ripping, and UMAC 20.
So that HIMS, we got above that 25. NVTS, this thing has just been straight up. My goodness. My goodness. Here's your HIMS. Yep, indeed. Right through that 25. Boy, we absolutely found some resistance there and popped through it now.
All right. So IEA agreed to release oil. So let's see what's that doing for SPY? What's that doing for the oil companies? Let's see here. Looks like like this could be a potential reversal here in the XLE.
None of those things are gone, Jamie Dimon. You just don't like it. That's literally all it is. But your own opinion, you're entitled to it. The victory lap's going to be amazing when it goes back higher. You probably won't be here for that, but it's going to be amazing.
I think Alpha, that's probably what it is. It's, you know, like I guess it would be like a continuation of this, but it's you know, it's come up to the same highs, and we moved through the high from yesterday finally, but it doesn't look like we're, you know, going to go a whole lot higher. Let me just draw a trend line here. Seems to me like we might be able to reach 27.25. I just don't know how much higher we're going to go after that. It seems like that's going to be a bit of a resistance area. We're very extended on a smaller time frame. We're not extended on the daily chart yet, but we're getting there. Looks to me like we could even go up to 28 before we find that resistance. That's I was going off of this is a trend line, but 28 also looks like that could be a resistance area. I don't know that there's a whole lot more upside left in HIMS in the near term. If we do,
I mean, it's had a huge pop recently, so
right. But if we do close above 25 and hold that area, then I would be a little bit more confident with there being some more upside, maybe towards 30, 34. Velo over 14. Let's go.
Some Oracle calls bought on this pullback. SPY still flirting with 677.5. And just to go back to Jay's comment earlier, oil still holding steady here by plus 2.4%, 85.5.
Okay, it looks like somebody picked up Velo, because that is really, you know, just out of nowhere getting a move.
Is it on any decent volume here?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, volume pop. No, you're absolutely right.
Yep. So this is just taking off. Maybe we go back to 15. Maybe we do. That'd be crazy, but I'd welcome it.
NVTS, no chill yet. 1050 incoming.
G-Man saying lunar.
Now, I think I saw that on the scanner earlier, but never looked at it.
Well, we do have another recapture of the 50-day SMA today. This has been a tough moving average. It's been support and resistance since the beginning of last month. It seems like we just go above and beneath it every few days. I think this needs to get over 20. 20 seems to be the big spot we need to recapture. And if it can do that, then we can start looking towards some of those higher areas in the 20 handle. 2250 looks like a spot as well, but 25. It's, remember with this one, it's like every $5 this has a big area of resistance and support. There was a short attack about 2 to 3 weeks ago on Velo.
On Velo?
Because I saw that.
Did we cover that one? I can't even remember.
I saw that it was getting hammered, and I was thinking to myself, oh, this might be an opportunity. Because I like this company and the product they have. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know that it was a short attack, but this thing had a really good run up over 20. It may have just been profit taking, because we came down to the 200-day SMA and we held above it before we turned around. Now we're trying to recapture the 50. Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see some multiple closes above that moving average. That's at 14.15. So got to hold above 14.15 for now, I guess. AEHR has been a monster lately. It has. I just, if we are, and that was just one headline that I saw, but if we are facing some kind of chip shortage, that could affect the upside for AEHR, as it did last time there was a chip shortage. And this has been just one of the worst days for some of the movers that we've seen. And there wasn't a long list of movers to begin with. But Domo, one green candle today. I wouldn't be surprised if this gave everything back. Just an ugly looking chart. Batman head and shoulders. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Now CYN, this might get going here. If we can get back above this VWAP like the price is trying to do right now, I think this could get going again. Maybe even take out that 225 high, but we need to see some more volume in this one.
So market coughed up that VWAP area. We'll see. This is where it bottomed before, 676. See if that holds. Indeed, they are, Zach. Waiting to see if the seasonality comes to play for that. That would actually really help if that's the case. That'll help us time some of those entries.
ONDS just had a big spike up to 1050.
Indeed, it did.
And now it's coming back in. Pretty handily there. Support's going to probably be down around 1025. That's where this was consolidating. That was the resistance area this morning, around the 1025 area. And when we finally broke through it about 10 minutes ago, it became the support. So we're going to want to see 1025 act as support now.
And when I've talked about ONDS before having like a big following on FinTwit and really kind of being mentioned by a lot of retail traders, this is the type of action that you can see, right? We traded up, it got to a certain level, 1050 maybe, and then the selling just started. Pounded it back down 30-some cents.
It has not let up yet. Moves through 1025, but we still have 4.5 minutes left in this candle.
We'll see.
We will see. TECK had a nice morning, went all the way up to the highs from yesterday. Still not able to get through that 53.54 high, though. AMPX, meanwhile, printing 1936. I think this one still goes up into the 20s. I was mentioning that earlier this week. Let me see where I was thinking this goes. AMPX. I want to say 24, but let me double check here. 1 second. I think this was a measured move that I had. Yeah, somewhere between 24 and 26 this might go to.
Cad Monkey, I love this. Locked in profits on the Qs. I'm staying patient, and I'm going for a bike ride on a cloudy day with a smile on my face.
But
I mean, cheers to that. That sounds awesome. Way to go.
And to reiterate one more time with AMPX, I still think that this move that we've had is making it pretty extended. I think we need to come and back test the trend line that we broke out of before we go much higher. But I still think the mid 20s are about where this price ultimately goes. Yeah, and I'm kind of holding off on adding new long-term positions. There are some things that I like, but I'm just being a little bit patient. I want to wait.
Yeah, my thought is, wait till we get closer to the possible seasonality flip and or wait for, kind of a bigger plunge move to deploy that capital than to take it now. I think I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, do have some things I'm keeping an eye on, but haven't been adding or opening new positions yet. Just need some more confirmation. None of these, I'm just nothing I'm really interested in
Nope.
Right now. Nothing's looking great. Low volume. Well done, Marty.
Settling near 70K. Oil starting to curl up a little bit. That's driving the SPY lower here. S&P futures down near day lows.
I think that's a great idea, Joe. He's in 60% cash. I don't think that's a bad idea at all.
Not at all.
I've got a pretty good sized cash position for my long-term account, more than I normally have. So,
and I would say I'm comfortable saying this too. The happy hour crew for a while has done a lot of cash raising over the past year, to be quite honest with you. All right, 13 really quick before we move over to the story trading folks, which are hopping on in just 2 minutes. Let me get the bills paid here. I do want to promote our webinar that we're doing tomorrow because it is free to join. So Benzinga is hosting a free virtual event this Thursday, 11 a.m. Eastern, right when 13 and I end, or shortly after we end here. It's called The Hottest Sectors Retail Investors Are Watching Right Now, AI and What Is Next. We're going to break down the AI boom, where the real opportunities might be, and how investors are positioning in high growth sectors like AI, big data, and then, of course, the rest of tech. You'll also hear about companies gaining exposure to these trends and the risks traders should be watching. It's free to attend, so scan that QR code on the screen, hit the link in the description, and reserve your spot. Should be fun.
Oh, yes.
Should be fun.
All right, here we go. I think Velo's going to give us that 15 print here. It's certainly climbing its way up there. $15 was the pre-market high as well. And sitting on hands and cash, Bernard, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I think that we'll see the opportunities when they arise. We'll have our cash ready to go. I'm certainly, I mean, you can see with the number of tickers I've been putting out that there are certainly things I'm keeping an eye on.
Yep.
And if I see something that I think is worth picking up for the long term, you will know about it. Yeah, Jay, I have Velo on my screen right now.
Okay, 13. We are just about out of time here. We're going to go to the story. Ooh, I didn't mean for that to happen.
Here I am.
Sorry about that. Yep, sorry about that. We're going to be moving over to the story trading folks next here. Do you have any closing words for the group here today as the SPY trying to bounce off 675 again?
Folks, you're an amazing group with a lot of really smart opinions. And even despite our differences, we can still find ways to respectfully disagree. And
every day we can do that.
I think that's what makes this group strong. That and your exceeding levels of intelligence to be able to recognize where the risks are too risky and where the opportunities are opportunistic. So, folks, bring that energy back here tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll make some more trades. We'll make some more money. It'll be a good time. Take care. Goodbye.
All right. Take care, 13. Good stuff. As always, let's go ahead and bring on the story trading folk. I shouldn't say that. Let's bring on the story trading gentlemen. Let's welcome Ben and Rhett. If Rhett's ready, I got to make sure Rhett's ready here. He's giving me the thumbs up. Rhett's good to go. How you guys
What's
doing?
happening, Ryan?
What's up? How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing all right. Here.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm gonna have to battle through today. I'm getting over the flu. I was out yesterday.
Hey, I worked through. I think it was just the time change that just completely wrecked me. I totally understand. Good for you for battling through it.
Yeah, thanks. We don't have laptop here.
No, so his Starlink isn't working at his house. So
all right.
It's just going to be the two of us at the moment.
All right, cool. Well, Rhett, you're gonna have to talk a lot because it's a little bit hard for me to talk right now.
Sounds good.
We'll get it done.
One of you guys is going to have to share your screen too.
Oh, you gotta do that. There we go. I thought you were just gonna look at our pretty faces here.
Oh, I'll get myself out of here then. Yeah, have a good one, guys.
All right, there we go.
All right, thanks.
All right, cool. So, wow, look at Velo up 20%. We grabbed a little bit of this, got a scalp out of it in pre-market, but look, had a second run on some, looked like some significant news out in pre-market. It's been a little bit difficult for me the last couple of days, but believe it or not, through this whole volatility and market drawdown, I had one of the best periods of the year, up 10 straight days in a row to about up 65% year to date. Yesterday I was down slightly because I think I was homesick and I just couldn't focus. But today might be my worst day in a couple of weeks. I am just getting absolutely destroyed with Zevra, ZVRA, down 12%. I had a big position coming in today, common shares and call options. So I'm taking it on the chin with that. But I mean, there's so much other stuff that's working this morning, Rhett. Wow, look at this Velo. I wish I took a scalp from like 1240. Man, I was early. 1240 to like 1390. And look at that, back to the pre-market high of 15. So I might have to look for a dip to get back in Velo. But it's a little bit, difficult. We're kind of in a, wow, this Oracle's been proving difficult today. We're in this like chop zone in the indices right now. Um, so up until now, it's been pretty textbook in terms of the move to the 200 DMA on War News, which we had anticipated ahead of time, which is why this was one of the best periods for me this year. I was playing FAFO Trump, not Taco Trump, right? And so that worked out. And I anticipated that when the war started, we'd see a move to the 200 DMA. Didn't exactly work out that way. It did hit the 200 DMA overnight Monday morning. And then pretty much textbook from there that you got to bounce to the overhead moving averages, right? On QQQ SPY, almost a 2-day move on SPY. And then we have inline CPI causing a sell off at this resistance, which to me makes sense. You needed a light CPI to break above these moving averages, although QQQ holding up better than SPY right now. So, but now it gets more difficult, right? This whole move was easy to anticipate for me, at least, because I think it was very easy to see that we were going to go in Iran and we were going to have this pullback. Easy bounce the last couple days, but now it gets into a chop range and it becomes very difficult. Wow, look at the Q selling off here. So yeah, I think it's a time period now where, at least for me, I had a game plan around the Iran war and we killed it. I don't know if you were on this show with us when I recommended RTX was one of my biggest wins of the year, playing call options leading up into this war. Now it gets a little bit trickier for me from like a macro perspective. I don't know what comes next except some uncertainty and chop. I don't think we're going to break below these key moving averages of the 200 DMA unless oil goes back above 100 and is sustained above 100. So I think we're kind of in this chop zone right now. So that means for me, it's all about stock picking at this point rather than about like money flow. And man, I wish I got a re-entry in Velo. Geez, look at this one. Had some very significant news in pre-market. Looks like 1589 can be next on Velo. 1589. So some individual stocks outperforming, but it's not easy, right? It's feast or famine. Some stocks not doing well. Some are doing well. So it's easy money's been made. Right now we're in a trickier spot. I know that sounds funny for a lot of you guys listening. I don't know. Maybe you've been hurting. Maybe you didn't play the Iran war, anticipate it, and just trying to get back on your feet right now after a nasty period for the last couple of weeks. I got to figure out what's next. But for me, it was very clear until this point. So laser, by the way, LASR, this was a top pick this morning in a morning note. I anticipated. In fact, I'll tell you exactly what I wrote on this laser. You got to see this because it looks like it's coming true here. Laser looks poised to surge to a new all-time high above 69.52, and that's been driven by this catalyst here in our Trump world section on counter drone lasers. Okay, so a lot of news out there on these counter drone lasers, and laser is making its move to 69.52. So I'm in common shares on that right now. It looks like it just broke yesterday's high of 66.39. 68.50 is the next target on this bad boy. Yeah, but I don't know. I've had some difficulty, especially with Domo, which last night I got into this with a 660 target. It hit 660, but I don't have access to trading until 7 a.m. at Fidelity, so I couldn't sell it at my target.
Look at this red wire pop here, Ben.
Redwire had news this morning, but before I look at that Redwire pop, hold on. Maybe I'll look at it. Yeah, Redwire had got another contract this morning. I noted it on the pre-market show. I think it was a $3 million or $4 million contract with NASA. Yeah, $4 million. Quick move to the 50 DMA 985. So wow, look at ONDS has been crazy volatile. Some big options flow in DJT. I don't really like playing money flow and following other people's bets on options, but particularly large one on there that might be interesting. Look at laser just taking off and exploding towards our target. Hold on here. I'm going to take another scalp win. Let me see when I got into this buy here. ACTG. All right. That's my third exit on ACTG. Been playing this all day after really stellar earnings report on ACTG. Look at laser ray. Oh my gosh. I don't know why we didn't emphasize this on our morning show. Like I just showed you, it was a top pick on the morning note, and I did play it. But there were so many catalysts this morning. I guess it just got overlooked. Wow. I might take a profit here because I'm up several dollars. Yeah, I re-entered at 64.50. I'm up $1,500 on it. I might just exit and look for a re-entry. So, I'm going to pause there because it's hard for me to talk. What's in your mind?
Yeah, definitely. That pop right here on Oracle, that latest one, I re-entered on it. It got me. It just turned me red on the day. I came in today.
Wow, I'm down on Oracle now today too.
Yeah, Zevra. I came in swinging that, and that put me in the red by my call options. But then I had a nice trade on Oracle this morning, buying that initial dip that we had.
Yeah,
candles.
I'm getting killed on Oracle too.
But now it looks like it's breaking back below. I was gonna hold this thing, but on the 1 minute, we broke below that 165.40. So looks like we're heading lower, and also the indices are not looking that hot. We did run a little bit to 612 this morning. Now we pulled back, kind of bounced off the 607 level. Where we head from here, I think it'll probably be a little more choppy until we get a sense of direction on where we want to head. But if you look on the indices, it looks like right now the easy money in the indices has been made, and it looks like it's going to be a little choppy from here on out until we probably break over 615 to the upside, or we break to the downside.
I think it's going to be very difficult at a macro level, indice level. I think it's going to be lots of wild chop, headline driven, but the easy money, the directionality, right? The easy predictions on the directionality have been made on that, so it's a different story now. You know what? I sold all of the laser there, but I'm gonna get back in a half position because I think this is going right to my target.
Another one I want to mention too is TSSI that had earnings this morning. That daily chart was looking really good. It has pulled back a little bit, but it's been holding up somewhat decent compared to the overall market. From 1439 highs, now we're at 1363, up 23%. I think we could see more continuation than that name.
Yeah, that was a big winner in pre-market for us. The next target, 1494, is the target I have on that one. Almost hit it, 1439, but I did step back in that. So I'm in a small position of TSSI. I'm getting killed on Oracle. I kind of forgot to manage that tightly.
Yeah, on my latest entry, I saw that. That's what I was looking at on the show. I was going to try to sell on the pop because I initially bought and I went in the green like almost 10%. Now I'm down.
Yeah, and the daily chart doesn't look superb either. I hate it when you gap over these key moving averages and then you go below it. This look always makes me really nervous. Because then I worry about a gap fill. It's the same look that Domo has this morning. So I'm getting killed on both of these daily charts right now, and I don't know. I'm wondering if I should just take a loss and walk away on these two. I really don't like the daily charts like this.
Yeah, so Jay Rice is asking, is that the tech that shoots down the missiles Trump talked about?
Laser?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I think Trump mentioned the lasers. Yeah, this is the Iron Beam that Israel has to shoot down the drones or whatever. It started working operational in the war, this war for the very first time. So laser sells some components to Iron Beam for that to work. And then the US is apparently now testing something. I don't know if there's probably multiple different projects going around and maybe multiple different suppliers. I don't know, everything about this, but I even saw a report that maybe it was operational. The U.S. has something operational that was used for the first time over the weekend. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I do know the Iron Dome in Israel was used operationally for the first time ever last week or 2 weeks ago when the war broke out. And that one was definitely laser, LASR. All right. The stuff that's being tested now that Trump is talking about might be laser, probably is laser, but I don't know for sure. And definitely very richly valued, but the RSI looks like it's not overbought yet. And you're going to see a big sentiment premium for this because this is Star Wars come to reality. I mean, we've heard about this since the Reagan years. And now, for the very first time, it's actually working. So I think it's going to get a bid, and it's going to be overvalued, right? If you go do the math on this, it's already expensive, already overvalued. So this, to me, is more of a sentiment and technical play right now. And man, it's looking really good for a move above 69.50, right? If not today, this week for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. Sorry, I'm just trying to manage the rest of this position that I have for Oracle here. Trying to see. Another one too that I want to bring up on the show is going to be ASTS. So there was
I
news.
just brought it up. I was just looking at my charts. Wow, there it is, right at the top of my list.
Yeah, so ASTS, so the Blue Origin, they're talking about adding. It was up to, what is it now, 4 or 6 satellites to
maybe 6.
I think 6. It's a speculation.
I mean, they've talked about 6.
6 to 8, but not for that launch. So like people are speculating that they could go up to 6 for this the launch coming up in May. So that was a nice catalyst this morning. And they got over a nice key level, and it's just riding up here up 5% this morning and bucking the overall market trend. I would say next target, easy one to see, is going to be 95 for this one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? I just got back in. I'm just scalping some common shares this morning here. 92.66 yesterday's high, 50 DMA target, possibly at $95. But you don't really have the market as a tailwind, so I'm not going to do a big position in it. I do have a big position in my retirement account. By the way, you know what I just sold in my retirement account? I just sold AMPX today.
I saw that alert.
Yeah, did I sell all of it? Let me just see, because I have multiple long-term accounts. Let me see if I have any left. I have like my swing long-term account and my long-term account. No, I actually have more. I didn't sell them all. But man, am I up? Wow, am I up big on this bad boy here? AMPX. Actually, I'm going to sell a little bit more because I found more shares. I'm going to sell a little bit more. Wow, big profits. What was my entry on this? Average cost $9.16. I'm selling more right here. I just found more shares to sell. Just sold at 19.13. Love the company, but look, it's overbought at this point. You can see it on the RSI, and fundamentally also, this is a fair price. Okay, it can always overextend, but this is a great spot to take profits and look for reentry. In fact, you know what? As I'm like hearing myself saying this, I think I'm going to sell all of my shares. I'm going to sell all my shares. I just hope I re-enter later. All right. I am literally selling all of my retirement account shares. Which is what I said I did earlier, but oh man. Come on, what the hell is stupid Fidelity? So many bugs. It's crazy. Wow, what a huge gain in AMPX. This was my first sell in my retirement today. I've held this since $9 through a bunch of volatility. It's been a couple quarters, and I just sold right here. What a beautiful win. Of course, I wish I had it in my short-term account. But anyway. So, okay.
Here we go. Oracle's holding on the 5-minute. It ended up holding that 50-day moving average, curling up a little here. See what happens.
Yeah, I didn't exit at all on this. I know the alert was given by Sam in our morning no execution channel. He exited and then got a re-entry. I don't know. I've just held it the entire day, and obviously I'm down on it. We'll see what happens. I think I sized it properly, but I really don't love this daily chart right at this moment.
No, it's not looking the best.
All right, I gotta mention. Look at this. ASTS is going. Yesterday's high 92.66. It did break above it, so hopefully this can make a run to 95. All right, I gotta mention. Look at Laser go. What?
While we're speaking of like drones and all that stuff, someone was asking about OSS if we follow that name. I know we've mentioned it before, but I haven't gone too in depth on it.
Oh, right. I've never researched this one yet. It's on my list. It's on my drone list.
Daily chart.
Yeah, a month ago they had a good $10 million win. Yeah, daily chart looks nice. RSI is not overbought yet. I don't know about the fundamentals. Can't really speak to it. 1010 target looks like it's next. Maybe up to 1080 swing target, which seems like, yeah, it could be in play. Just looking at the size of this recent contract versus the market cap, just a very like crude way for me to look at fundamental fair value. Looks like it's reasonable, right? It doesn't look like something that's way expensive. So just given that and the fact that contract was recent combined with these technicals tells me that 1010 to 1080 may be in play on this, but I just don't know it well enough. I've not researched it lately or at all, to tell you the truth. I've not researched it. So I've heard about it, and that's why it's on our drone watch list. But wow. Laser looks like it's gonna hit the target. All right, so I gotta let you know about Zebra. Yeah, yesterday it looked like this play was working out well. I booked most of the gains the night prior because I bought it in after hours, so I had a nice day that 2 days ago. Yesterday was not great. It was okay, but you can see just a small whatever. It was okay. And this sell-off to me is complete BS. I think there was an AI article out there on, was it Zacks or, well, where was that AI article on something's? Let me see here. But Zebra had.
All right, I'm all out Oracle now on that pop. I barely got any profits. Let me see that here.
Zebra had a standout report, man, a breakout report. This is like insane. So I bought the dip. I'm not getting shaken out of this. I was on the conference call. Everything checked out. So the headlines are clean. Okay. And the headlines here on Zebra. Let me just pull it up from Benzinga Pro. Headlines on Zebra, 19-cent EPS. Here it is. Beats 5 cents. Sales 34 million, beats 28 million. This was clean quarter, and they are profitable, and their revenue is accelerating, and they beat guidance. So I did not get shaken out of this today, and I bought $9 call options for $1 today on the dip in size. Right here. This is me. Bought a lot of them at 9:37 a.m. I bought 80 contracts at $1. You can see that right here. So yeah, I decided to, instead of getting shaken out and taking the loss, I decided to average down, and we'll see if we can get a quick bounce back towards 1050. Yesterday was the biggest green day, biggest green candle in company history. 9.4 million 9.4 million buy volume, which beats anything on the chart ever. Okay, except maybe, let me see. Well, there was this candle, but it wasn't an open green candle, so it's a red volume bar. But from the, as far as green volume bars go, this is the highest volume green volume bar ever. All right, and now you're like down on low volume. I think this is bullshit. I might be wrong, but I bought the dip here. We'll see if I get paid on these $9 call options. ASTS is just running it.
Yeah.
ASTS and Laser. Yeah, so
Yeah, so is don't look, but Unify is the runner of
oh my god.
it's a day 2 runner.
Oh man,
Got me.
I tried playing this yesterday. It was a spectacular earnings report. Spectacular. And I bought it yesterday. I lost money on it. And I put it in the, by the way, in the morning note, I think I put a fire emoji next to it. Check it out.
Yeah, you did. You did.
This is the second day in a row. I'm gonna start doing these fire emojis in the morning note. Look, I put one next to ASTS also, but Oracle and Domo not quite working.
Yesterday, when you put the fire emojis out on 4 out of the 5 picks, played out perfectly. The only one, I mean, it ended in the green.
I'm gonna start doing those fire emojis as I go through those catalysts. But this was such an incredible earnings report, like a blowout. Like, my gosh! And so I put that fire emoji on this morning, thinking it could outperform today. But I mean, there's just so much going on. It didn't make our curation process, but I guess it should have. Wow. And I was on the conference call too on this one. That's a shit. I hate it when I do the work and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is the same bullshit that's happening with Zevra right now. I was on the conference call for both of these, and wow, oh my gosh, day 2 move on Unfi. Oh well, let's see if Zevra can pull it off. Evolve, by the way, very good earnings report out of Evolve, but it is like a richly valued company. And it's down 1%. So here's one that, who knows, maybe this has a day 2 move, but it's not as good as Unfi. Unfi was something else.
Is Rocket Labs flowing too? KLB. Let's see. Yeah, look at Rocket Labs.
I'm trying to get there, but I'm still in some TSSI. And I don't want to give back my gains. I've made good money on this today.
Yeah, not looking good.
I think I might bail on this for the day.
I guess I had a
I mean, it's right at support. It might bounce off here, but
look at that MU. Wow. Bounced right off that level of 407, now ripping to 420.
Now there's MU, one of my largest positions. Man, I put this in the morning note twice this week. Monday morning is a bounce play, and Tuesday morning as a continuation play. But I didn't play it. I did not play it, even though I called it. But I own it long term.
That's my second largest holding. My first is still ASTS. Where is someone's asking about Jay Rice is saying LNTH, that Lily chatter may be true, not giving any back. I've not looked at that one yet.
I've not seen it. Wow. Lily chatter was what, a few days ago? I totally missed this. It must have been March 9th.
Jay Rice, what day was this on?
Must have been
Lily
March 9th.
chatter. Let me just check the news feed.
Let's see if Benzinga has it. No, what I have here is an FDA approval on March 9th. This has been moving since an FDA approval on a new formulation of its F18 prostate-specific membrane antigen imaging agent, Pylarify TruVu injection. So it's been moving since then. Maybe there's also a Lilly rumor, but that looks like that was the main catalyst that set it off, was FDA approval.
And then, yeah, pre-earnings run 318 for MU. That's going to be one people are going to be watching very closely. ASNS, that's another one I don't think I really have traded or looked at. Probably not going to pay too much attention. Pretty small company.
Evolve is coming back a little bit. I bought some on the dip. Let's see what price I got in at. 508. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll sell a few shares. 508. selling those dip shares I got with 508. Little scalp. 523. Man, Unfi really hurts. Man, it's so annoying. Like I put all this. Wow, Mu looks like it's going crazy. Mu's gonna go over 440. Mu's going over 440.
All right, let's get. You want to go get contracts? Not this week, the following week. Pick
On
up
what?
like the 450s.
No, I don't. You can get it.
Sure.
Too expensive.
Yeah, we're live. Oh, I didn't send. Crap.
Yeah, let me know how much those Mu contracts are, but they're probably crazy expensive.
Yeah, I'm looking at them now. TICK left. Someone's saying. Well, these
I
are names
can't
I'm
believe
gonna
that this
trade
one
off of.
fucking Unfi would have been a huge winner. AAOI, another 52-week high. Man, I bought this. You know what's? I'm killing it in my retirement swing account. Is just sick. My retirement swing account is. I just sold AMPX in it, but other than that, I have MU, Air, UMAC, AAOI are my top 4 positions, and then AMPX was in there, which I sold. Like this account is just ridiculous. I wish I did that in my trade account. Let's see. Year to date, it's up like 26%. Doesn't match my trade account, which is over 60%. But I don't do any options there. I don't trade. I just hold in there. So that's not bad for just holding. But AGX new 52-week high. I think I own that long term. That alert just came out. What a miss on Unfi. I really should have pressed Unfi with the community yesterday.
I guess I did have a good exit for getting out of Oracle there for a little profit.
Oh, did it crash again?
Yep.
TS
is looking good. I'm telling you that 95 is coming.
Which one? What?
ASTS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm just in common shares of ASTS.
And then LASR just made another high. We're almost right there at 68.
I'm in both of these. Just common shares only.
31 cents away.
Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm down so much on Zevra. It's crazy. I'm just taking these small scalps on other things right now. While I'm
I was trying to sell those on the pop, those calls, just to get something out of them because I was trying to get out. I still have a few left. I think I have 20 left.
What, Zevra?
Yeah. I took a loss on the others. I had 35 coming into.
Dude, I loaded. I didn't take a loss on anything yet. I loaded up on the dip. Let's see what
It's
happens.
looking decent to start running up here.
I mean, I think it's down on such a bullshit. Let me see if I can find that article. It's complete nonsense. All right, Benzinga doesn't have it. I'm looking for it.
It's in the Discord, I believe.
Yeah, it's in the Discord. Okay, here it is. This is such bullshit on Zevra. It was a tip ranks, and I don't know. It's the only thing anyone can find of why it may be going down. I don't know. Is tip ranks really that influential? I don't know. But they have this headline: Zevra faces partnership hurdles that could delay drug development and pressure financing. Auto-generated news act. This is such crap. I mean, they're doing great, cash flow positive, a lot of cash. All right. And it's not a partnership hurdle. It's just something in there, some boilerplate stuff in the 10Q that's saying they may need to secure collaborations with larger pharma, but they've been going at it on their own and they're just killing it. They don't need a partnership. So is this what caused it to go down? Since it's the only thing I found, I'm going to assume this is what caused us to go down, and that's why I bought the dip. All right. So hopefully I'll get paid big time on this.
Rare earth selling off here.
Oh no, I'm in a bunch of rare earths
Yeah,
today.
I'm watching this.
And I'm in Oracle. It's not, where are my rare earths I'm in today? UAMY. Oops, I'm in UAMY and Carmel. Oh boy, I'm taking it on the chin today. UAMY and Carmel down. Is that down with the market or only that sector is down? Is it only that sector? May just be intraday noise.
And then someone's asking, hey Ben, OPFI had great report today. Why is it down 6%?
Oh shit, it's down 6%. Oh, I forgot about this. I bought it in pre-market. Oh damn it! Here's something else I'm down on. I bought this at 950 in pre-market. Totally forgot about it. It was a great report. I only got small size. The reason I hesitated is because this is a type of stock that's going to move on macro, on interest rates, and CPI was in line. I guess the market just wanted a light CPI. You see TLT is down today, which is not good for rates. So I think this is a type of stock that's just going to be out of favor until or unless you see a big tailwind in the sector regarding interest rates and mortgages. Oops, I can't believe I totally forgot about that. And I just took a loss on OPFI.
ONDS red.
Thankfully, it was only a small position. What's that?
Whoa, that's a big flow on Baba. 165 calls, expiration 7/17/26. 1.6 million contracts. ONDS struggling here as well.
ONDS has been very, very hard to play lately. So I stopped trading it. I've given up trading ONDS. I own it in my long-term account, but it's been very, very choppy. Does not react predictably to catalysts. It's hard to know what catalyst would be seen as by the market as an inflection catalyst. As of now, it's taking a look at all these catalysts and it's saying that's peanuts compared to the market cap, right? That's what it's happening now. It is a very richly valued company. There's a lot of overhang with the warrants and financing that they've done. So in order to overcome that high valuation and the warrant overhang that's causing probably some shorting to be done, you're going to need something massive, I guess. Right now, like here's yesterday, 15.8 million initial order, not good enough. And every other day they're having like these small orders. Small, 15.8 is big, but relative to a market cap of 4.5 billion, it's not. So this has been very, very hard because again, I'm having a hard time judging what type of catalyst is going to be seen as big enough to overcome all of this heaviness. And I don't have the answer for that. So I gave up trading this. And I just own some in the long-term account.
You know what's the biggest thing I regret this week is selling those 105 AAOI calls.
Oh, I know.
My gosh, up another.
Hey, we made like 50% intraday on it.
Yeah, it was pretty fast, but we left 1,000% right there.
Holy crap! Oh my god.
That was what on Monday. Look at that.
Well, I'm still in it in the my long-term account. But yeah, left a lot on the table. I think I'm gonna step back into ASPI here.
ASTS was looking pretty good. Now it's not as good. I'm telling you.
Oh man, I'm getting killed on the rare earths now while Micron is still going.
Those calls are pretty expensive.
I gotta tell you, the last few days, my retirement account has outperformed my trade account. I've had a tough time trading the last few days. But am I in the right stocks though in my long-term account? It's crazy.
Did we talk about HIMS? Someone was asking about HIMS. I don't know if I brought that up.
I mean, has there been anything new since the big news over the weekend? Wow, it's up again. 12. It's squeezing, huh? 27.77 looks to be the target. I'm not in it. 27.77. Yeah. I went to 27.22. I don't like this intraday move below this moving average here, though.
Yeah.
But no, I missed this whole thing. I didn't play the news at all. I missed the whole thing on HIMS this week.
Then someone is asking if they can follow you on your personal X account.
I mean, you can if you want, but I don't really write on my personal X account. I mean, I guess follow our story trading account. I mean, my personal X account is Ben R Trader, but I hardly ever say anything on there. And if I do, it might be political stuff. So I don't know that you want to follow me there.
Too funny.
Wow, Unfi. This Unfi earnings report was absolutely such a blowout. I can't believe what a lost opportunity that I didn't swing this one. And yeah, man, I'm getting killed on a bunch of things today. This Domo, I can't believe this Domo. Hit my target. Couldn't sell because I didn't have early morning trading, and now it's just hard for me to sell when it hit my target. I'm just feeling like I deserve for it to hit my target again, Rhett. I'm having a very hard time cutting this.
For which one? Oh, Domo, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something.
Man, giving back someone TSSI, this sucks. I think I'm going to bail TSSI because I'm in a profit on it, and I don't want to lose that. So I just sold my latest entry on TSSI there.
You know, another one. Did you talk about Air yet? Because that's something worth mentioning here.
I mean, Air is one of my favorite stocks. It's in my long-term account. Unfortunately, I missed this whole move. I put it in a morning note. Monday morning is a bounce play, and Tuesday morning is a continuation play. It was in there, and I didn't play them. Stupid me. So I've missed this whole move in the trading account. I hate it when that happens, but I own it in my long-term account in size, at a good price after we got that inflection. Yeah, I'm up. I'm
Do
up
you see
40
that?
grand. I'm up a lot of money on it. Thank God.
You see that petroleum place in
Hold on.
Oman?
1 second. But Air, I gave you guys a target back here after the news came out on February 11th. I gave a target of 50 to 100. 50 to 100. We hit 47. Now we're 44. So that's my target for this year, 50 to 100. It's a wide range because 50 is the minimum target based on the catalyst on February 11th. But if they get other very large contracts, which they could, then your target starts moving into the 70s and 80s by year end. So that's my take on Air. Sorry, what were you saying?
You see those petroleum tanks that got hit? It looks like an Iranian attack earlier, like 40, 50 minutes ago.
No, is that why we're seeing some volatility?
Oman, looks like.
I saw oil spiked at 11 o'clock. It was where were they? Where were they? In Iran that were hit, or outside? Or Iran hit some?
Iran hit someone.
Oh, really? No, I didn't see it. I've been on the show. But maybe that.
Looking at the news to see.
Maybe that's good enough for a fourth. Maybe that's good enough for a fourth entry in ACTG today. Well, this is going to be my first significant down day in like many weeks. Mostly thanks to Zevra, but a few others as well. Unless Zevra comes back towards $11 today, which is possible. All right, I'm going to step back into ACTG here. This is my fourth entry. Ooh, cool. Nice fill at 480 too. You know what? I think I'm going to get size on this one. Oh, is Oracle crashing?
I'm not in that anymore. I'm not sure. Let me see.
Just got an alert. And Oracle's.
Yeah. That's not looking good.
No, and I still have not sold any. What is Sam doing? What is he recommending for us? He's still in, I guess. But yeah, big loss on Oracle today so far.
I could see this name heading back down. Next support's around like 162 area. 163,
Man,
162.
market's starting to look. Starting to
Um,
see a lot of weakness.
yeah.
I'm gonna get out of
Well,
Evolve.
Google was looking strong though, so it could be something that holds up the market. Let's see. It's looking somewhat weaker on the 5-minute now. Google, Microsoft. Let's just go through these names that hold up. Oh, Microsoft is ugly, guys. Look at that, Ben.
I don't really care about that, to be honest with you. Right.
Um,
But yeah, man, I just saw my account value for the first time today. It's pretty bad. Thanks probably mostly to Zevra, but it's some other stuff.
light.
Domo's starting to come back. All right, I'm all out Evolve. I probably didn't make money on it, but let me check maybe.
Market drop, yeah.
Oh wow, I made $300 on Evolve today by a little bit of a miracle. Okay,
Yeah. Everything's
I guess I bought the dip. Domo's starting to pull up. TSSI dumping. I think the whole market's dumping now, isn't it?
yeah, pretty much.
All right, I think I'm gonna
Everything.
sell. I'm gonna sell ASTS and laser.
Yeah, ASTS will get pulled by the market. It's not a strong enough catalyst to buck this market trend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what is holding up very well right now is AOI. Look at this. Not even affected.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's only in my long term. Wow, you're right. Not affected even by not even one little candle.
It's starting to come a little bit down, but even then, it hasn't even consumed that other 5-minute candle. So,
Man, I'm getting destroyed on Oracle still. Wow, I'm getting killed on. Oh, I'm having a terrible day. I gotta start taking some losses. Jeez. I gotta start taking some losses, man.
UANY.
Yeah. I'm gonna sell Carmel. I'm keeping UAMY in case we get a pop on that Bloomberg interview this afternoon.
I
We
thought
gotta
they were
be
on
very
this
careful.
morning.
They're on all day, different times.
Mm.
But the big one, the Bloomberg TVs this afternoon. Wow. Some nasty hits there for me. Wow. Look at this. Oh shit. I'm in D, which I forgot about. Wow. Oh man. All right. This is my you know what? When I got screwed up a little bit, we're looking at our returns and I noticed I was up 8 I was up 8 straight days in a row, right? So then like I totally it impacted my psychology and I started playing to the streak rather than sticking with my process. It was just like
Yeah.
luck, it was just like an outcome of my process that I was up 8 days straight in a row. And then every day I'm like, "Oh shit, I'll be up today." And that totally has messed up my thinking. So,
Yeah, especially when you start thinking and having that process of like, how can I be green today? Forget it.
yeah.
Just got to
Oh,
stick to your process and what the charts and information tells you. That's how
yep,
you treat it.
yep. Well, AAY just went down.
It did.
Yeah. Um
Yep, they're finally catching up with the market. Yeah, the Q's pretty much made a new low a day since the opening.
I should have just stayed in bed yesterday and today.
Yeah, next target 606.30. for
Oh
the
wow,
Qs
it's
if
a-
you break. It's not looking good.
everything's getting killed here. Unfi is holding up well.
Wow,
Wow.
Google,
Wow,
Apple,
wow, 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 wow.
Microsoft.
All right, let's get Zevra to take off, hopefully.
Maybe we'll see a nice
Zevra
little
and
pullback
Domo.
near you.
Look, Zevra and Domo coming back. Domo really coming back strong. Zevra, Domo, Unfi strong. Some relative strength around here to be had. UAMY, man. I'm still stuck in SHMD and UAMY. Damn.
Ben, you've been following the war pretty closely. What are your thoughts for time frame?
Time frame?
Like
Is
with
that
the
your question or
yeah. I'm just asking you. Like, what do you think in
look,
terms of?
maybe I was too I was I guess I was too optimistic coming in because I was, especially after they struck Khomeini on the first day, I was hopeful that within a few days, I would start seeing riots on the streets and stuff, and I would see like the people in Iran like take over government buildings. And the fact that we haven't seen that, we didn't see that within the first few days, really kind of made me a lot more pessimistic about the eventual outcome. Because I don't know, no one's I'm not an expert. Who's an expert on this, on popular uprisings and revolutions? I don't know, but I feel like that spontaneity is kind of missing. And that spontaneity kind of being a reflection of when it should have back in June. I said this before, during the 12-day war, on the final day of that war, um Israel started hitting the regime sites, the IRGC and stuff, which was clearly done in order to maybe get like a political uprising from within the country, right? Um, I think maybe I would have liked to see Trump not stop Israel then. Yeah, he forced Israel to stop when he saw Israel was doing that. Maybe that would have led to a better outcome, because now you had like Iran having 8-9 months to plan for this, and they are hardened, man. They've really planned for this. It's unbelievable. They have like multiple leaders, multiple levels of leadership, and of course the first one gets wiped out, the second, the third. I don't know if they had that back in June. Maybe they didn't.
Yeah, probably not.
That would have been the time to do it. And then maybe a second time to have done this was no, I don't know. I can't really. I was gonna say I would have liked to see quicker action when the people were out in the streets again, just like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and it got delayed. Did that hurt the process? I don't know. But anyway, long way of me saying is that I don't know what the hell is going to happen anymore. Because to me, the ideal outcome was you hit the political realm, really hard, and that takes people out into the streets, and they take over the media building and the government buildings, and then you have this like, revolution kicking off. To me, that clearly was the goal from day one. I think it was always Trump's goal as well, no matter what it's telling you. I think the goal always was regime change.
But don't you
And
think those people are now scared though, due to the fact that they saw what happened with the massacre during
yeah,
this time? So I
of
feel like
course.
that's also in the back of the people's minds too. Why we're not seeing the people
Yeah,
revolting and going against the regime. So
yeah,
I think that's weighing a huge factor. So
yeah.
until
But
something
they
significantly changes,
really, the regime really prepared for this, man. over the last 6 to 9 months. Like the IRGC, like they've moved into schools. What are we at 1123? They've moved into the operations into schools and mosques, like places they know that's going to be difficult for United States and Israel to hit for political reasons and perception reasons and collateral damage. Even if they know, even if like there might be too much collateral damage to hit them, like it's just a real mess now. So how long is it going to last? That was your question. I have no freaking idea.
I think this gets yeah.
You think what?
I think this is gonna get dragged on for like at least 6 to 8 more weeks.
Maybe. Look at Unfi. My gosh. I can't believe I didn't hold on to Unfi for a day 2 move. Look at that move. Oh my gosh. So wow. I have no idea what's going to happen. I really don't. I'm hoping for some sort of miracle. And to me, it's all about, I think, like the end game here. And at some point, if it doesn't work, they're going to have to change their goal. United States, Israel have to change their end game and be like, okay, I guess we're happy we set back their ballistic missiles for 10 years or whatever, and we're going to call it a day. At some point, they'll have to say something like that unless we get some sort of miracle and the people on the streets somehow take over the media and the government buildings. That's my preferred outcome. And that can shorten it, right? Because once you get like some sort of popular uprising, I think the bombings slow down, and then you can get like covert support behind the scenes from the CIA and Mossad and things like that, because even that is going to be messy. Even that's going to be a revolution that lasts, maybe years. But at least once it starts, then maybe United States says, okay, we don't need to bomb anymore. Like we achieved our objective of getting the ball rolling for a revolution. Let's get out of here. But to me, clearly, that was no matter what Trump says, you have to read between the lines and understand the geopolitics. And that is the primary goal, no matter what anyone says. That is the primary goal. So it's a little bit disappointing, and I guess most of you watching know I was born in Iran, and I guess we made a good decision leaving when the Islamic Revolution happened in 1979. But it sucks. It definitely sucks, the situation. I mean, yeah, I was all excited at first. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get to visit Iran, visit my hometown and stuff like that. I don't know that that's gonna happen anytime soon, Rhett.
Yeah. Arcat, UMAC, and ONDS. Jay Rice is saying, interesting to see these names doing well, whereas AVAV has been cut in half. AVAV, I thought, had bad earnings, though.
They did.
Something that was bad.
Yeah, AVAV had bad earnings yesterday. It was down 10%. It's come back a little bit. I mean, UMAC, unbelievable strength. I have this in my retirement swing account. Interestingly, I don't have RCAT, but UMAC seemed to have better numbers, and the valuation actually seems better on UMAC than RCAT right now, believe it or not. What a beautiful exit on AMPX. I may have caught the top, selling all of my AMPX this morning. That was crazy patience. 9 to 19, right? I didn't sell a single share.
A little over 2-bagger right there.
God, I did not sell a single share in my long-term account, and then I sold them all in one shot today. That's beautiful. I love that. I wish I did that in my trade account.
Yeah, that would have been a nice cushion there. But what was it? AMPX is still your largest in your trading account as well, though, right?
No, I sold it like the day after earnings.
No, but I'm saying in terms of the biggest gains, it was.
Oh, biggest. Yeah, it is my number one biggest gain for the year is AMPX. Imagine, and I missed this whole thing. I sold it on March 5th. Like, imagine, and it's my biggest gain there. Imagine if I kept it and I had call options too. So I missed this whole thing. I missed like a $5 move here, or over $5. I missed like a $6 move in my trade account because I was happy selling this gap. And wow, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I could have made so much money on it. I was loaded. Oh well.
Yeah, I think you sold at what, 14?
Something like that.
14.50?
Yeah, something like that, sadly.
1940. Wow. All right. Any final closing remarks, Ben? I know we're coming to that time.
I think it gets harder from here. I think it's been very easy for us here the last couple weeks, at least at this in our Discord. We correctly predicted this drawdown in the indices, and we go to the indices, and then the bounce back. But now, honestly, I don't know what the heck happens. It's going to be a whole lot of chop here. I have a hard time seeing a breakout or a breakdown, to be honest with you. I think we're going to be in a chop zone from 590 to 615 until something resolves with the war, or maybe some other economic data that's really bad or really good. So I think this is our chop zone for a while. So it gets a little bit harder, guys, from here on in my opinion.
I agree, because I mainly am I trade the indices significantly, like every day in the past, like I would say almost this past week, I've traded them significantly less and focused on individual names like trading Oracle and those type of plays. So when people that are trading the indices normally that are veering away from it because it chop, like how do you trade today? Like today, trading the indices, unless you're scalping a scalper, I mean, it's kind of hard to make any money here, because there's not really a sense of direction.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
right now we're breaking down, so I mean, you could probably catch this move down, but
I just got another scalp exit on ACTG. 5 out of 5 on this today. Crazy.
Nice, well done.
Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, right. Keep an eye out on ASTS too, because they have upcoming catalysts, and yeah, that's it. That's my closing remarks.
All right, we're done for the day. We'll see you next time, guys.
All right, take care, guys.